For all unspoken thoughts, impossible to extract, buried deep inside. Even with all the will, you can't do anything. Forgetting becomes an art. Nothing matters. You have to feel the bass. It sets you free. All of your worries dissolve in liquid dreams. All the weight you carried, lifted away. You are lost in the crowd. No one cares. I promise you. No one cares.
Thank you, may you say I love Amazon and Falcon Knee. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. We will be starting in a few. In the meanwhile, enjoy some groovy Friday beats. And thank you, Connor. Starting the hype train, and the show hasn't even started. Oh, pa, the OG of all G's, Mac Fat Butt in here for 9 fucking months. Don't drink while you're pregnant. We interrupt this program to say that the king is dead. The king might be alive, but the empire is sure as fuck committing suicide. Labor aristocracy, rest in piss. What do you call an economist committing suicide? American foreign policy. Hey liberal, crashes economy. Hello, my beautiful chatters. It is Friday, April 4th, and it is the first stream of the week. How are you, my beautiful sons of my bitch, doing this fine morning, evening / afternoon? It is more than good to be back. Oh my god, that's funny. It's more than good to be back. I had to go visit my mom, and of course, a local small town internet was absolute shit. That is why I didn't stream the other day. Thank you, Lele. Thank you, Miu VDV. Bibo, glad to see you back. Glad to be back, my friend. Glad to be back. Anyways, yeah, I went to my hometown to visit my mother while my girlfriend was in Polska, Polaku, Poland land. It was lovely. My mother's lovely. We chilled. I ate some really good food. I drank some really good rakia. I hung out with my grandparents. It was quite nice. Now I'm back, ready to stream 3 days in a row. Dedicate the full extent of my weekend to my beautiful child soldiers. Hype train level 2, 30 seconds left. Maybe level 3, whoever knows. Thank you, Hakeem. But South African getting hit with tariffs immediately after getting our ambassador expelled. So a great week overall. Indeed it is. But yeah, what a great timeline to come back to. The American establishment quite literally walking out on stage, pulling out a rusty spoon and shoving in its stomach and slowly opening its guts as the infection festers. Of course, I feel awful about my dear comrades over in the Imperial Corps, but I must state as someone from the side, I mean, I called a multipolar world in the 2050s. Turns out I was wrong. Not about a multipolar world coming, but about when it's coming, because thanks to JDPON Don, whose big fans we all are now, turns out that Red MAGA was right all along, but I guess for all the wrong reasons. So welcome to the Trump Youth Rally here on the left. It is a great time to be alive. From time to time. Thank you, Shawshank Redemption, for the 5 gifts. Oh my god, I hate this mask. This mask keeps falling. I was like, oh, I'm gonna pair this mask with the shirt. It's gonna be so edgy. Even though you can see my entire face at this point from this mask. It's kind of stupid. I don't even know why I wear masks anymore. And thank you, Pink Vinley, for the 9 months. I hope the pregnancy is going well. You better take care of my beautiful, beautiful child. You will have a greater opportunity to do so in a more multipolar world of today. But that is pretty much what I have prepared for you motherfuckers on this fine day. We will listen to people far smarter than you, of course, not than me, because I am the smartest man to ever live. Talk about the logic behind the sanctions, the long-term repercussions of the sanctions, etc., etc. If you would like to, obviously I'll talk about my hot takes on it, but if you would like to understand the general deprogram team's perspective on this, you have our mutual project First Thought, where we already made a video on this a while ago, a month ago, and I think we wrote it like 2 months ago. How Trump will destroy the U.S. economy. It's basically about the tariff wars that are about to come. Uniting East and West, calling forth brotherhoods that were never before believed possible. JDPON Don is working towards Unitas Mundi, but for all the wrong fucking reasons. Hello, Blat, please can I have a bed empanada drama? Yes, I think we have a little bit of like H3 bed empanada drama. But come on, Romka, this is your moment to shine. Romka is a resident chatter that I believe holds greater resentment towards the labor aristocracy than absolutely anyone else. There is a small caveat of an opinion that I haven't seen shared a lot. I mean, people are talking about how it's going to influence salaries, how it's going to influence prices. But I'll read out what I wrote. It is also negatively going to influence, in the best case scenario, salaries in the United States. So, best case scenario, America starts reindustrializing through this very fictitious kind of putting a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid type of policy. But let's even imagine that happens. You do know that if this brings production back to the States somehow, which is not going to happen, but still, in order for all the treats Americans are hooked on to remain affordable, domestic labor costs would have to massively go down. TLDR, you have to significantly cut salaries of those working in U.S. production. To use nerd terms, by not feeding off of the hyper-exploited labor of the third world, the American labor aristocracy will have to be de-aristocrated. Capitalists will always get their sweatshops. They'll just be in-house domestic, right? So even if capitalists understand that they must continue producing everything domestically in the United States, which, to repeat, is not going to happen, but let's say that is the best case scenario, right? The best case scenario, everything needs to be produced in the United States. What do you think the immediate policies that are going to be lobbied are going to be to the U.S. State Department? Cut any fucking union possibility, cut any welfare system for working people, cut any minimum wage requirements. It's going to maximize the use of prison labor, maximize the use of the gig economy, etc., etc. Basically, if in the best case scenario, the regular American everyday production worker, people that are in production, not necessarily management, will see a steep decline in both real wages, because obviously costs will be higher, so real wages will be affected through that, but also their literal salaries and the amount of labor organization that is allowed in the United States. Because local capitalists, while losing money from not being able to utilize developing states abroad, will try to recreate the American worker into what? Into a third world worker. So yes, the de-aristocratization of the American labor aristocrat. A smart commenter right here said, and I do think it's a He's a decent writer. Robert Kurtz saw this coming 30 years ago. Capital will eat its own foundation. I mean, it had already eaten its own foundation through outsourcing originally. Now it is trying to get away from the problems caused by outsourcing, which was a band-aid on an already growing problem of declining rate of profit, aka affordability, pretty much. That it's trying to put a band-aid on the previous band-aid that has now festered and is infecting their state. Unlimited gifts to the first world labor aristocrats. Britain and US have to third worldize. My only problem is the amount of Nazis currently created by the third worldization of Germany. That is correct. So I hope you get my point, right? You get my point. Everything else has pretty much been said, including this probably. But let's see if there are any hot takes. Before we do that, genuinely thank you for the lovely level 4 hype train, the 12 gifts and the 300 bits to all my beautiful, beautiful piggies, without whom none of this would be possible. But yeah, if you want a more in-depth look on our estimate of what is going to happen, and this was made an entire 2 months ago, then I do suggest this first stop video. But I would just be basically playing my opinion, so it would be difficult to react. So instead, let's listen to some people that are obviously almost as smart as me, such as Vanis Varoufakis, the sexiest Greek uncle, and Richard Wolff, the sexiest American uncle. Let's start out by Richard Wolff from 1 day ago. It already cut the fat. Now it's nourishing on its own muscle and bone. Absolutely, it is basically like the best allegory would be like the United States is a dying organism, still maintaining its power from the image that it garnered for so long, and it managed to run off of the image, both the image that they will be very good allies, but more importantly, the image that if you fuck with them, they will fuck you up, right? But now it is actively self-sabotaging on both of those fronts by alienating as many allies as possible, while bolstering the possibility of a multipolar world, and therefore the ability for now former allies, to go and communicate with parties that up until that moment were only allowed to be painted as foes. Richard Wolff, #1 revisionist, pitching anarcho-mutualist slop. Yes, welcome back, Romka. Romka is not happy with a single person that we use to cover things here. I am a critical supporter of Richard Wolff. The amount of people, in unironic opinion, that he manages to get into socialist thinking, that's why I genuinely think he is a part of the pipeline through conversations about market socialism, is really good. Market socialism is not a long-term solution, but theorizing around how to democratize enterprises, quote unquote, in my opinion, is one of the best and easiest ways to explain a broader idea of what people imagine a worker-run, a proletarian-run society would be. So, and I'm pretty sure that my friend Richard is, is hiding his power levels and just doing his part on the pipeline. Okay, this is he is very fervently and openly post-capitalist, anti-capitalist, whatever way you want to define it, right? Unlike Sotsdems, which of course it would never fucking platform, and I believe it is weak to do so. He called USSR capitalist. He called USSR state capitalist, which Lenin agreed with. They can be a whole other conversation. Thank you, Dank McMuffin. What is this large post? Hello, Yugo in chat. Crabcore is a niche music subgenre and internet meme that emerged in the 2000s. It's associated with metalcore and post-hardcore music, but stands out because of its unique stage performances. The term crabcore comes from the distinctive stance adopted by musicians during live shows and music videos, where they crouch low and spread their legs wide, resembling the posture of a crab. That sounds fun. The style was popularized by the band Attack Attack, especially after the release of Something. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Dank McMuffin, for 13 months and for being exceptionally informative about crabcore. Let me actually satisfy you here. Crabcore. Is this crabcore? They're all the same guy? I get it. They're like little crabbies. It's cute. Jocula, can you satisfy me as well, Daddy? Ma puši kurac, bre, Jocula. I'm mad at Jocula. Jocula's a dick. But thank you for the 15 months. Oh, and ruined it. I hate when it goes soft like this. Personal taste. I guess I'm not in touch with my personal femininity enough. You either do screamo or you never pivot in the oh, like a fuck no, you know. But still, it seems ancient. Yeah, it's 18 years old. Didn't you see the timestamp? It's cool though. Thank you. That's crapcore. Thank you, McMuffin, and thank you, Jocula.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Global stock markets are tumbling after President Trump unveiled the biggest hike in global tariffs in modern U.S. history, including a 10% blanket tariff on all imported goods from about 185 countries. In addition, many U.S. trading partners, including the European Union, China, and Japan, will see even higher tariffs. China now faces a total 54% tariff. Trump announced the plan during a speech in the Rose Garden at the White House.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for
Liberation! We will liberate the labor aristocracy from its position in a global supply chain hierarchy. It's a bit low volume. Thank you. Oh, shit. Fuck. Sorry. Thank you.
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was...
the day that we had a lot of fun. I am still a supporter of Nothing Ever Happens guy. I am the Nothing Ever Happens guy, not even the Peener Gets Snippered guy. And because I believe Nothing Ever Happens guy is the strongest guy in the Peener Snipper universe, I'm like 60% sure he'll go back on this because Trump lives off of one exclusive energy source, and that is being liked. And this does not seem to be making him very liked in the wider American landscape of everyone from intellectual to everyday Joe. But I was known to be wrong 1% of the time, so maybe this is that 1%.
was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. American steelworkers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen, we have a lot of them here with us today. They really suffered gravely. They watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories.
The foreign leaders making money from our domestic capitalists exporting and outsourcing jobs abroad because they want to make more money. But no, it's the foreign leader.
and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream.
The impact of Trump's tariffs are expected to be felt around the world. While Trump claims the tariffs will boost the U.S. economy, many economists fear it could lead to a recession or worse. Trump's trade war could also shift global alliances as countries seek new trading partners.
Mom, can we please have import substitution industrialization as a country that industrialized 150 years ago, please, Mommy?
China, Japan, South Korea have already announced plans to increase trading ties and coordinate their response to Trump's tariffs. We begin today's show with Richard Wolff, professor of economics emeritus, University of Massachusetts Amherst, visiting professor in the graduate program in international.
And everybody's fucking uncle. You know that back in the day, and even to this day, Richard Wolff fucked. Like, this man knows how to lay pipe. You know, when you just got big dick energy, you just got big dick energy, and Richard Wolff has plenty of it. He has so much that he's like, I'm not a capitalist. I'm not going to hoard all that surplus cock. I'm going to dedicate my life to pitching for a lack of surplus extraction, if you know what I mean. What's up, Robo? I'm good. Hope you're good, too.
Affairs at the New.
What are you getting confused over? What you guys can come into my fucking stream and drool all over fucking Femme Ben Shapiro and scream about how she can be fixed, and I can't fucking drool over my boy Dick.
School. He's the founder of Democracy at Work and hosts a weekly national TV radio program called Economic Update, the author of a number of books, including most recently Understanding Capitalism and the Sickness is the System, When Capitalism Fails to Save Us.
Every time I tune in, you're talking about cock, Hugo. I am a Freudian Marxist, okay? I am a big phallus discusser. It is to exclude psychoanalysis from dialectical materialism is to not properly analyze the non-material drivers of both the working class and the enemy classes.
It's from pandemics or itself. Professor Wolff, it's great to have you with us again. Well, start off by responding to, and were you surprised, shocked, or do you guess that, well, about 185 countries were going to see increased or tariffs?
On the one hand, we knew something like this was coming. On the other hand,
Brett Cooper is nothing like Ben Shapiro. Ben is a Daily Wire loser. Male Rights USA, we can agree on that, my friend. Welcome back. It is good to see you again.
The sweep and the scope of it does make you stop. Mr. Trump is right. It is a changing moment in American history and world history. But I think his representation of what's going on is completely fantastical and has only to do with the self-promotion that he is engaged in most of the time. It was never foreigners who did it to us. This notion of the United States as a victim, we have...
Still going to play the Hodges Patriot here. Is it may be possible that the pipeline may dialectically work upwards towards less radicalization? And Wolf says nonsense about USSR being... I mean, sure, you can play the Hodges Patriot. I just disagree. I don't think that's how pipelines work. The only time a part of the pipeline can de-radicalize you is if the person you are platforming or the person platforming you is less radical and has a much larger audience, much larger presence, much larger power, etc., etc. So it's low volume. What the fuck happened to my mic? Okay, like this. So basically, when Richard Wolff comes on Democracy Now!, it's very different to some other people doing a similar thing.
Who did it to us, this notion of the United States as a victim. We have been one of the greatest beneficiaries in the last 50 years of economic wealth, particularly for people at the top, just like him. It has nothing to do with foreigners taking advantage of us. This attempt to make himself strong and powerful relative to others.
I didn't explain myself properly. Basically, if you think that anybody with less radical Marxian explanation and thinking is hurting the pipeline, then you don't believe in pipelines at all. Then you believe that it is only like somehow everybody's supposed to immediately fucking, understand complex Marxism or Marxism, Leninism, etc., etc. Right? Like without less radical but not damaging pitches along the pipeline, which will slowly convince someone into embracing class consciousness, you just have a bunch of people alone in a room screaming at each other about complex theory. That's it.
Blame the foreigner. These are cheap shots that a real president wouldn't do. And there's the most important point. The American economy is in trouble. The American empire is in decline. We don't want to discuss it in this country. We engage in denial, and instead we are striking out at other people, a sad way of handling a decline. The British Empire declined before us, so did all the others. We are now at that point. We had a great 20th century. 21st century is different. You have to face those problems. That's not being done. What's being done is to say we have...
I agree, though it's a little bit immaterial. I don't think that empire has the ability to properly face those problems. That is because the innate driver of capitalism is to think that by doing more of the same thing, you will fix the problem that was caused by the thing that now you're doing more of, right? So it kind of expects an incredibly wise leader to come to the top and understand the problem and somehow redirect it, but it is a systemic problem. He cannot do much redirecting, right? It can be Trump who does it really, really fast, or it can be some more classic liberal type that is going to maybe slow it down a little bit, but never avoid the end conclusion, which is that, capitalism eats its own base. It's not about user reach, it's about the correctness of theory. You can do simple agitation with hiding power levels and not revise the key points of Marxism. Same goes for pretending to be a part of the pipeline and collabing with AOC or Bernie. Yeah, I can reverse this in ways that a lot of you would not find very comfortable. Like agitating for organizations and movements that not only do not define themselves as Marxist, but as sometimes even religiously reactionary as a means to fight empire, like a lot of people are okay with. But then talking about specific individuals who contribute to the pipeline more or less, or sometimes make mistakes, and sure, I agree. Further liberalize potential Marxists or stop them in the pipeline is such a big deal for everyone. On the other hand, I don't know.
Difficulties, but they're all somebody else's fault, and we're going to solve it by punishing them.
It's like critical support for me, but not for thee type shit. If you fully dedicate yourself to orthodoxality, like you're just sitting by yourself in the room.
I would like to point out, as you suggest quite rightly, Amy, that the rest of the world is not going to sit by. The United States does not have the power it had in the 20th century. It is not in the position it seems to imagine itself. When the Secretary of the Treasury added to Mr. Trump's comments that he warned the rest of the world not to retaliate, that would imply that if they do, there would be escalation. Yes, he said, there will be escalation. Well, nothing will guarantee more escalation than if they do nothing, because then it's an invitation to Mr. Trump to keep doing it.
Also, what the fuck happened to Albania? One of the worst socialist experiments in history, if you want to take the Hodgeist fucking path.
As each of these efforts doesn't work.
Given how dramatic this was yesterday, is it possible he was deciding this to the very last second as they put this off? And Explain exactly. You're a professor, you're a teacher. Most people don't even realize how tariffs work.
Okay. A tariff is a tax. It's just a particular tax that got that name. It used to be called import duty. All it means is when something comes into the United States that was produced outside and is brought in to be sold, it has to pay a tax, as literally as it crosses our border into our country. It is paid by the American company that brings it in, which may pass it on to the consumer, usually what happens, and the tax goes to Uncle Sam. It goes to Washington. Mr. Trump loved to suggest that tariffs were paid by the others, a little bit like Mexico would pay for the wall. Never happened. It's not going to happen here either. It's an American tax. And there's something remarkable that clues you into how big a change this is, that the Republican Party, which has branded itself as the anti-tax party for a century, is now imposing the most massive tax imaginable. Why this big change? Because we have big, big problems, and this kind of slapping the rest of the world is an attempt to solve a little bit of them, but it is not going to work because we don't have the power to do it anymore.
I want to go to UAW President Shawn Fain, who supports Trump's new tariffs, saying last week, "We applaud the Trump administration for stepping up to end the free trade disaster that's devastated working-class communities for decades." Fain spoke Sunday.
Imagine telling someone back in 2010 that a right-wing conservative Republican economist would say that free trade has been destroying working-class American families. How would you fucking react? Holy shit.
On CBS's Face the Nation.
We've seen over 90,000 manufacturing facilities leave the United States. We've seen, in the big three alone in the last 20 plus years, 65 plants have closed. And so, look, tariffs aren't the total solution. Tariffs are a tool in the toolbox to get these companies to do the right thing, and the intent behind it is to bring jobs back here and invest in the American workers. If they're going to bring jobs back here, they need to be life-sustaining jobs where people can make a good wage, a living wage, have adequate health care, and have a retirement security.
Oh, yes, I'm sure that when they stop paying thousands of employees abroad that cost as much as like 50 American workers, they will come back into the American market and they will pay you a fair wage. I mean, sure, even in the best case scenario that they do, your little toys that, Americans are obsessed over more than anything else, aka commodities, etc., their price will fucking skyrocket. And then those very same workers will not be able to afford the commodities that they are developing. That's why outsourcing was such a relatively successful band-aid to postpone capitalist decomposition, because it kind of solved that question. It said, the people making this shit can't afford this shit. So let's make more broke people make this shit for cheaper and then send it over to our people who can afford it because it's cheaper, because it's produced by broke people, right? But you can't rewind that, my friend, not in the market economy, unless capitalists wake up tomorrow and they're like, oh, I don't care that much about my bottom line. I'm now producing in America and giving American jobs. I can live with losing 20, 30, 40% of my profit rate. I'll be chill with that. If you believe this, I have a beautiful bridge in San Francisco with your fucking name on it, 100 gift subscriptions, and it's immediately yours, okay? Speaking of gift subs, in exactly 3 minutes and 45 seconds, an ad will play at the top of the hour here at YugopnikTwitch. I vote those ads by putting tariffs on them, 100% tariffs that will cost only $6, less in other countries. Of course, we are adopting anti-ad tariffs based on where you're from, and the ad will indeed not play for you, or be a true benevolent capitalist and give to those less privileged than you, and they will also be very, very grateful.
And not have to work 7.
Thank you very much. Ad plays in 3 minutes.
days a week or multiple jobs just to scrape to get by paycheck to paycheck.
Well, while UAW President Shawn Fain praised Trump's tariffs, he also said he had great concerns about President Trump's move to eliminate contracts for 700,000 federal workers, the firing of...
So this is, for example, this is for you guys. And Romka, my beautiful, I think, will agree as well. This is a prime example of differing class interests in the imperial core and everywhere else. While this man is a representative of everyday American proletariats, the disenfranchisement of the international worker so that American workers can have more jobs, etc., is in the interest of the American worker, unfortunately, against the interest of the so-called third world or developing world worker. So there we see a vision of differing interests, though it is problematic because that's not how it works. You both get screwed. You both get screwed. You will get de-aristocratized domestically in order for them to be able to keep making as much money as they were making when they were using sweatshop labor abroad, right? So sure, you might get jobs, but you'll get the shittiest jobs or the same type of jobs that you want, but at a much lower wage point. I mean, that person is a representative of a union. Best case scenario, the way they will try to minimize how much the American worker wants for the production jobs that are going to come back to the States is by destroying these very unions so that they can pay them less, right? So basically what I'm saying is American labor aristocracy thinks that its interests do not align with the interests of the third world worker, but nonetheless their position is very different than what it was in the 70s and 80s and will come back to bite them in the ass as well, unfortunately.
I've never seen such an amazing cleaning prop.
What's this? Robo sends link, I click.
Do y'all get intrusive thoughts? Like when you're walking on the sidewalk and a car's coming and there's a random voice in your head that's like,
if you don't pass that fire hydrant by the time that car passes you, you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
I get those, but like on steroids. It's like there's a funny little character that follows me around. We'll call him Mr. Silly. And every day, Mr. Silly injects 50 intrusive hypothetical situations directly into my brain at inconvenient times. It's so funny.
What if you slide into the incoming traffic? What if you slide into the incoming traffic? Wouldn't it be funny? Slide into the incoming traffic. Yeah, I can relate.
I love it. For example, whenever I'm in a public gathering holding any sort of fragile or spillable object, Mr. Silly will be like, hey.
Mr. Silly is proof that conversations about free will or determinism are not as simple. You don't simply have free will or everything is predetermined. Everything is predetermined except for Mr. Silly. Mr. Silly makes you go, hey, 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 hey.
What if you drop that? What if you drop that right now?
And I'm like, Mr. Silly, you're so funny. Why would I do that? And then Mr. Silly will proceed to perfectly calculate what would happen if I did do that, including the exact reactions of everyone to a horrifyingly realistic degree. Like, I'd be apologizing, and then the host would be like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. And then internally I'd be like, bad dubby. And meanwhile, I'm just standing there like, and maybe it's some kind of evolutionary trait for the human mind to try and come up with possible scenarios in order to plan ahead. And
it's in order for it to lie to you that you have free will. That's my hot take. Fun video. I would not be upset if streamers didn't spend quite so much time going over and over and over the Ethan thing. Love and hugs. I agree. I try to stay away from it. I use it as clickbait in my titles from time to time, but I stay away from it. The imperial core is the house slave and the periphery is the field slave. Beautifully put. There is trillions of value flowing into the U.S. via unequal exchange and trade. It is in the interest of the American labor intelligentsia and similar upper-income proletarians to have cheap commodities and higher wages as crumbs of imperial plunder. Exactly. But then what these tariffs will do is they will lower the amount of crumbs that they receive, ironically, and make them work more for the crumbs. So they'll get less crumbs and they'll work more for the crumbs. But in some statistics book, in the best case scenario, they will say that they have more jobs. That's my pitch.
Of workers at the National Institute of Health.
And I think it's correct.
And other agencies.
I was a bit disappointed. I like Sean Fain, many of us do. But this was disappointing. To say, basically, I will support the president because he does something that might help my union, even though Sean Fain knows, as most economists do.
I mean, come on, chat. I can't believe, none of you are... Especially not you, beautiful, not you, Romka. Nobody's coming in with unions' tendency to turn and accept reaction when it's in the interests of the particular industry that they are protecting, even in the eyes of potential class-conscious revolution, etc., etc. Come on, you guys are smart. You guys read theory. Come on, that's what this is. That's what this is.
That if you put a tax on the goods coming in, they...
TLDR Lenin, TLDR the ability for reaction to co-opt union organizing.
It will go up in price because we have to pay that tax now. And that will lead to domestic producers able to raise their prices because their competitors from abroad are stuck with this tax. So we expect a boost to inflation, which is going to hurt the working class of this country in a very serious way, especially if it builds on itself, which often happens when you do tariffs like this. And I want to remind everyone, including Sean Fain, that the auto workers also represent workers in places that need export markets, that produce in America and sell abroad. When those countries retaliate, as they likely will, we will lose export markets, and that will mean fewer jobs. And no one, let me stress, no one now knows whether the jobs lost from this trade war will be greater or smaller than any jobs that are gained. It is a big risk being taken by Mr. Trump.
And to say it for the 100th time, the jobs that might be gained are going to be incredibly underpaid.
And if it doesn't go well, it'll be very bad for the American...
Because that's the only way it will make any financial sense for domestic American capitalists. In order to make sure that their fucking overhead remains the same. So overall, a net positive, though, if the American service sector shrinks and they industrialize and useless influencers and DIY bracelet makers will go to the factory. Okay, now Romka, now you're going in a wild direction.
Economy, it will produce the recession.
Factory good! I love my factories! More factory equals more better!
Folks are worried about, because if the prices go up, people buy less, and that loses jobs. When you look at all of this, this is an incredibly risky effort to blame the world, punish the world, and then cross his fingers, which is what he's doing, hoping it comes out all right. Reminds me of the football metaphor. This is a Hail Mary pass. You throw it down the field. You hope it bounces into your team's hands. But that's all it is, a long shot, and it's a sign of how troubled the American economy now is.
If you can put this in the bigger picture, talk about the tax cuts and how they fit into the tariffs, something like $4 trillion in tax cuts and who benefits, and then talk about the other issues that President Trump keeps saying that they're not going to touch, even though what many call his co-president, Elon Musk, whether he steps back from being, giving speeches or not, going after Social Security, issues like Medicaid.
Only when the whole U.S. turns into one big Amazon warehouse sweatshop, there will be class consciousness in the U.S. No, you need to go further. Okay, we want a Amazon monopoly to give 100% of jobs in the United States, because then socialism can be achieved by simply socializing only Amazon and not all other sorts of capitalist production systems. AKA, if there's only one employer in the United States, you only have one enemy, and it's much easier to defeat him through that accelerationism TLDR.
Let me start with the tax issue. The biggest single thing that Trump did in his first presidency was the tax cut of December 2017. And when that tax cut was written into law, it had a sunset. It expires this year, 2025. If that expiration is allowed to happen, corporations and the rich, who were the big beneficiaries back then, will face a big tax cut. He doesn't want to do that because that's his base, that's his donor support. He doesn't want to have those taxes go back up. Well, then what is he going to have to do? If he keeps on spending and he doesn't let those taxes go back up, he's going to have to borrow trillions, as we have been doing. He doesn't want to be the president who keeps borrowing trillions, in part because the rest of the world is a major creditor of the United States, and they're not going to continue to do it the way they have. So he's in a jam. He has to do something. So his hope is to savage the expenditures in this country. Look what he's doing. Mr. Musk stands there with a chainsaw to give us the clear implication, I'm going to solve the problem on the backs of the working class. I'm firing them all. I don't care what the rest of the working class suffers. I'm going to fire all these people without notice, without plan. Calling this efficient is a silly joke. An efficient
It's inefficient, but it's smart, because regular American workers do not identify state workers as one of their own, so they do not feel attacked when state workers are fired. Typical reactionary herder. More factories, ironically better in the case of the industrialized first world economies. They don't produce shit, but leech off the service sector and unequal trade. Yeah, I agree. We thought Donald liked Kim Jong-un because he's a strong man. The truth is that he taught Trump how to do juche. JDPON DON!
Process takes time, takes experts. You're not doing that. You're just wholesale firing. Calling that efficiency is an attempt to fool people that shouldn't make any difference. Mr. Trump is now in a jam. He can't get out of this without in some way solving the problem that has been built up. And there is no way other than the one he's doing, because it's the last gasp of how to take away from the mass of the people the ability to borrow. I mean, let's be honest. If you put a tariff, you make everything coming in from abroad more expensive. That means people will buy less of it. They'll shrink their standard of living. If American companies take advantage of the tariff, which they always do by raising their prices, that will also hurt the working class. You are immiserating your workers.
That mask sucked.
In order to try to solve the problem you haven't solved before. But here's the irony that may in the end come back to haunt us. Europe has been unable to unify under the umbrella of American alliances. The enmity of the United States is bringing Europe together better than the alliance was able to do. And as you pointed out, very important, China, Japan, and South Korea, with long histories of animosity and tension, are getting together to cope with this. Wow, we are unifying the whole world. If you want the big picture, in my judgment, after World War II...
Juche Don, but Unitas Mundi Don as well, bro. Nation states that really hated the shit out of each other are now, like, do we hate each other so much that we can't ally at least for 3 seconds in order to counteract these insane fucking accelerationist policies?
George Kennan taught us about containment. We're going to contain the Soviet Union. The irony, which the philosopher Hegel would enjoy, we are becoming contained. We are isolating ourselves The votes in the UN are the United States alone, or the United States and Israel and 2 or 3 other countries. The isolation politically, the isolation now economically. We are the rogue nation for the rest of the world. We may not want it, we may not agree, but it doesn't really matter if that's how they perceive us. And that's what's happening.
You talked about South Korea, Japan, and China joining together. One of the biggest announcements of tax cuts was against Taiwan. It's just a little more complicated for Taiwan to join that group.
And also another one was Vietnam, which got a very heavy whack. I mean, is there no recognition of what the United States did to that country? Maybe you wouldn't want to crush them with this kind of a thing after. As I'm saying, this is a change. This is a sign to the world that as the United States empire declines, this is a nasty place that's going to, gesture and thrash around, doing damage everywhere as it copes with its own decline.
Former Greek finance minister.
Because it does not have the ability to actually change anything due to its inability to criticize, reform out of, or God forbid, completely change the economic model, which has caused all of this in the first place. The same way you have reactionary policies internally when they want to unify one group against another in order to avoid talking about the big bad in the room, which again is the economic system in which they find themselves in. You can also do the same thing, but on a state level, and the United States is basically doing that. The same way it demonizes immigrants, trans people, all sorts of minorities inside of the United States. On a global playing field, it is doing basically the same by saying, it's not capitalism that is in decline, is that we are actually really, really nice, and all the foreign states are taking advantage of that. That's why we need to take out the stick and start whacking them all. Does that sound like I'm oversimplifying here, but does that sound like something else? It's the same as when they say, okay, everybody's been leeching on white people for so long, we must take out the stick and teach the blacks and the Mexicans and the whatever about where their real place is, right? No more Mr. Nice Guy, baby. We see this all the time domestically, but now it's also being applied abroad. And the only reason it wasn't applied up until now is because there was, to an extent, there was no reason to do it in such an extreme manner, because capitalism was relatively self-sustaining. As it degrades further and further, liberal capitalism does not only turn fascist inwards, but also outwards.
Yanis Varoufakis recently wrote a piece headlined Donald Trump's Economic Master Plan. He wrote, quote, "This is what his critics don't understand."
It's not that addressing the contradiction kind of undoes the privileges of the ruling classes. The ruling class are small beans. True. Exactly. Bro, I swear Trump will go around with union dogs when they open a couple of new factories that provide a total of 300 jobs, 100%.
They mistakenly think he thinks that his tariffs will reduce America's trade deficit on their own. He knows they won't. Their utility comes from their capacity to shock foreign central bankers into reducing domestic interest rates. Consequently, the euro, the yen, and the renminbi will soften relative to the dollar. This will cancel out the price hikes of goods imported into the U.S. and leave the prices American consumers pay unaffected. The tariff countries will be, in effect, paying for Trump's tariffs. Do you agree with that, Professor Wolf?
No, even though Yanis and I do a lot of work together, so normally I defer to him. He's wonderful in his analysis. I don't think this is correct. Is it a possible outcome? Yes. We're in a situation, let me put it this way. Tariffs are not new. They've been around for hundreds of years. If you teach a course in international economics, which I've done, you tell students, here are 1,000 books, here are 5,000 articles. We know And the answer is, when you impose a tariff, you don't know what the outcome is because it depends on everything else going on. Interest rates, exchange rates of currencies, rising or falling economies around the world. You can't know in advance. It's a very risky thing, which is why for the last 50 years, we have had, administered by the U.S., something called free trade or neoliberal or globalization. All of that is over now. The United States can't win anymore in that system, so it is reverting to economic nationalism. And that's a fundamental shift that throws the world. It was the accepted wisdom for 50 years, the last 50 years, not to do what Mr. Trump is doing now. If you want, you can think that everybody who thought that way for 50 years was wrong, and Mr. Trump, the genius, is correct. But that would be a long shot. Better bet he's trying to save his own political life, and he's trying to cope, to his credit, with a declining economy without having to admit that that's the case. This won't end well. It normally doesn't. And what we're going to see is the fighting against one another of the Europe bloc, the Asian bloc, the American bloc, at a time when the United States is weaker than it has been economically and politically. Look at the debacle in the Ukraine as well. The misunderstanding that the Russians could turn to the Chinese and the Indians to cope with the costs of that war in a way that hadn't been calculated, and is turning out to shape the outcome. And it's not a question of which side you're on, but just watching how it lines up. That's the problem.
30 seconds. As you often talk about, are you saying this is the beginning of the end of American empire?
Yes. I think we are already in 10, 12 years of that decline. It can't. Here's a single best statistic.
Dude, the dead body is fucking spasming, okay? Unfortunately, the dead body has the world's largest military-industrial complex and still has leftover capital that even in its, even as a rotting corpse, it exudes so much interest, so much power, so much overarching control that it can cause almost as much damage in its final spasms as it did at full power, but that is only short term, because eventually it runs out of it because it cannot produce any more political levy power. It cannot reproduce its own position in the international hierarchy. Multipolarity is inevitable unless they start dropping fucking nukes. That is a take I will fucking die on.
Statistic. If you add up the GDP, the total output of goods and services in a year for a country, of the United States and its major allies, the G7, it's about 28% of global output. If you do the same thing for China and the BRICS, it's about 35%. They're already a bigger block of economic power than we are. Every country in the world thinking about building a railroad or expanding its health program, they used to send their people to Washington or London to get help. They still do. But when they're done, they send the same team to Beijing, New Delhi, Sao Paulo, and they often get a better deal. The world is changing. And the United States could cope, but as with alcoholism, you have to admit you have a problem before you're in a position to solve it. We have a nation that does not yet want to face what this all adds up to.
Good takes as always by my boy Richard. Okay, now we mentioned Yanis Varoufakis. Let's move to Yanis Varoufakis and see his takes. Shall we, ladies and gentlemen? And NBs. Da-dum-dum.
To Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day. In just 12 hours' time, the president will announce sweeping global tariffs on products imported to the United States. The announcement could affect trillions of dollars of U.S. imports, and there are fears that it could trigger a global trade war. Well, the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said that the EU was ready.
We're not in decline. I hate the America haters. My friend, we're genuinely not hating. We're just using our eyes. You're trying to tell me that the average American can afford today as much as they could in the 70s or the 80s. 2025 is 45 years after the 70s and the 80s. That's called decline. 45 years passed, 50 years passed, and it's not getting better for regular Americans. It's getting much worse. That's called decline, bro. That's what the word means. We're just using our eyes.
To retaliate to protect its interests, while Sir Keir Starmer has said that all options are on the table for the United Kingdom. The Trump administration insists that the policy will improve.
Wait, this is old. That was old and CNN. No fucking liberal bullshit. Thank you very much. Let's go to whatever this is. Undercurrents.
Responses. When two people have sex, it's a twosome. When three people have sex, it's threesome. Now I know why people call you handsome.
Thank you for the $3. That was impressive.
Have been catastrophically inane, and that is a major challenge for humanity, given that what Trump is doing is he's truly upending the monetary system as we've known it and the global trading system as we've known it.
Well, at 4 p.m. last night, Donald Trump celebrated Liberation Day at the White House in the Rose Garden, finally rolling out the specifics of his secretive, much-awaited tariff agenda. Here's a little bit of what he said.
In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order.
I'm gonna sit.
Instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us.
That means I invent how much they're doing to us, and then I throw a random number at them. And then we ask you, how did you calculate it? And a thing that we've apparently been planning for 2 years. Turns out we were like doing it like a fucking college student until like fucking 5 a.m., 2 hours before the fucking test. And we're like, I don't fucking know. Let's write like fucking numbers on it. Like, I don't fucking know, like currency protection divided by import minus export, I guess, divided by 7. I think that makes sense, right, bro? Yeah, that makes sense, bro. I think we'll get a D, bro. I think we'll get a D. Like, the teacher will be like, okay, they used their brain. They probably read the book. We're going to get a D, bro.
And we do it.
Chat GPT that shit.
To them, very simple. Can't get any simpler than that. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation in the United States.
Consequences of the political system in which you find yourself in. Oh, in America, we can just elect anybody into power, including basically the definition of the greatest fail sons to ever fail sons, such as Trump and Elon Musk. And obviously, they will do very stupid shit versus a political system in which you have to unironically manage a village, then manage a town, then manage a city, then manage a mega city, then manage a mega city. Then you potentially have an option to even walk into parliament, and then you have to exhibit incredible professionalism there through literally decades and decades of experience in order for you to become a member of the executive branch of the ruling government, aka no matter what you think about it, but with a slight oversimplification, that is how the Chinese state executive body is governed. So one where the only way to be at the top of the government hierarchy is by proving that you can govern through governance for the last 3 to 4 decades. And the other one is like, a guy has a show about business, so they all know him, so they vote for him, and he's president, so he just YOLOs the whole fucking thing. Speaking of YOLOing the whole fucking thing, I'm going to YOLO this top of the hour ad break that is going to play in 1 minute, so you YOLO and spend $6 or nothing to Prime and become a Child Soldier subscriber and avoid that ad break, or oil me up, daddy. Oil me in that beautiful oil. And you get to see me all up while also helping out your fellow chatters. Thank you for the consideration. I'll try and hit that target. Very nice.
States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think?
Thank you, Barry! I think Barry is the biggest oiler at this point. Is there a way for me to see who my top gifters are? Thank you, Barry. Your wife is a lucky lady. Is there, like, does Twitch have a way to see?
Marco, good problem. Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. More, we take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of them any longer. But we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first. And I'm sorry to say that. And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first.
NPR reported, quote, President Trump has unveiled sweeping reciprocal tariffs on goods from the world over, plus a 10% baseline tariff on U.S. imports from all countries as he seeks to reshape decades of U.S. trade policy, despite warnings of higher costs for American businesses and consumers. NPR goes on to add the president announced a 10% minimum tariff to apply to goods from all countries. However, certain trading partners will face higher reciprocal tariffs aimed at penalizing them for their trade barriers. Those taxes on imported goods are calculated on a country-by-country basis, and the levels Trump announced for some trading partners are substantial.
Yeah, can't see. How do I make the fucking leaderboard thing? I don't have the leaderboard thing. I genuinely am interested in who the top giftoids are.
Substantial.
Oh, wow.
He said plans to impose 34.
Top gift is Barry Balls with 10 this stream. No, not in this stream, my friend Ali. In general, in all, of all time, like since I've started streaming ever.
4% tariffs on China, 20% on the European Union, and 24%. Trump is emerging with.
We're here for Giannis. Yo, bro, we're here for Giannis.
The specific
okay,
going
thank you.
On undercurrents with reaction to the massive announcement in the Rose Garden yesterday. Giannis, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
It's been a busy 24 hours. We are now in the day after Liberation Day. So, what's your reaction to the...
You feel liberated yet, motherfucker?
announcement Donald Trump actually made yesterday? There's so much speculation going into it about what would happen, but how do you react now that we know more of the specific contours of his plan?
It was utterly predictable. He had staked out the territory that he was going to invade, and he has invaded it. And now we have to make sense of what he's trying to do. We have to avoid the Project Fear that's coming from the liberal establishment. They resemble headless chickens running around panicking.
Liberated from my retirement fund. I mean, your fault for being American. I'm kidding. I'm very sorry, and thank you for the 4 months, my friend. I hope your S&Ps are doing okay, eh? Your S&Ps are your 401ks and shit. How do you Americans call it? 401k, tebra.
Utterly incapable of understanding that the man has a plan. I personally loathe his plan.
Chat, gift 1 sub, bring American decline 1 step closer. That's hilarious.
But to dismiss him as an inarticulate fool...
I lost 6k, that sucks. I actually feel bad for you.
He may be. But to dismiss his whole team as not knowing what they're doing is a gross error, which I think they will live to regret it. And here I'm talking about the Democrats in the United States, I'm talking about Macron in France, I'm talking about Ursula von der Leyen. The responses have been catastrophically inane. And that is a major challenge for humanity, given that what Trump is doing is he's truly upending the monetary...
Yeah, but the cope heads over in CAC Europa always like to say, "Hey, this isn't America doing. This isn't America's doing. This is just a temporary glitch due to the current administration. But once it passes, everything will go back to normal." Yeah, the same way you had a previous Trump administration, you have this one now. Then you have a new version of Trump, unless Trump continues to be president forever, which would be...
I'm Hitler's top guy.
Fucking hilarious.
The system as we've known it, and the global trading system as we've known it.
Can you flesh out that point? Because that's similar to what some of the hysterical analyses are saying, but you're saying it without the fear-mongering. So if you could flesh out a little bit about why it's true that this is upending the financial system, but it is also sort of, when you understand it, I guess, different than the hysteric.
If you define the current financial systems as a neoliberal capitalism, then yes, it is upending it, because it is upending the idea that you do not get to protect even the national bourgeois, and you leave everything to free trade when it comes to international competition to some extent. So yeah, in a way it is.
Eric suggest.
JDPON Don will bring back Dark Europa as Europa Reims. Also, please get the Soviet anthem on your sound pad. That's so LARPy. It's so LARPy. I do want to do it a lot. I want to do it a lot. But it's LARPy.
Well, absolutely. Look, it's totally not unprecedented. Richard Nixon, on the 15th of August, 1971, this was something I expanded upon in my article in Unheard, shocked the world in a way that Trump cannot even begin to imagine competing with. The Nixon shock was much more devastating than what Trump is doing. And he did upend the monetary system of the time, which the United States had painstakingly put together at the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944. This was the golden era of world capitalism between 1944 and 1971. The United States played this huge role in creating essentially a common currency area, a dollar zone, including Western Europe and Japan. The
LDR, they basically gave everybody what can be defined as state heroin, also known as the US dollar as their reserve currency, and they linked every world economy to the American economy, mostly to grow domestic wealth, to create American imperial power long term, but most importantly, to counteract any fledgling state from pursuing a Soviet future instead of that with the good old Big Bruda. So that was Bretton Woods.
You know, it was
we started buying and selling everything in USD, okay? America's the only one who can make USD, therefore we are all little American states. Massive oversimplification, but that's it.
The pride and joy of the United States establishment and the European establishment. And Nixon blew it up. And he did it knowingly. Paul Volcker, who was a member of his advisory team in 1978, expounded on this. He said, you have a choice sometimes. Maintain the global order, or for your own purposes, pursuing your own national interest, proceed with a controlled disintegration of the world economy. That's a quotation, the controlled disintegration of the world economy. And indeed, and here's the delicious irony. If you look at the liberal establishment in Europe and in the United States, what are they exactly lamenting? The passing of what world? It was the world that was created by the Nixon shock. So let us not pretend that this is unprecedented. It happened before. And what Trump's team is assuming, or this is their conviction, it is that the world needs another Nixon shock, this time they call it the Trump shock, in order to maintain American hegemony against the grain of the diminishing significance of the United States economy in a grander scheme of things. Now, whether he will succeed or not is another matter. Nixon succeeded at the great detriment of the American working.
Burger Thank you, Carly Wenger. Thank you very much, my friend, for the 13 months. Burger.
In class, at the great detriment of, to some extent, Japanese capitalism and Western Europe. Western Europe was, it took them 30 years to recover from the shock and to create the euro. The euro was the attempt of Europeans to respond to the Nixon shock. What is going to happen now as of yesterday? Well, that will depend on how people react to Trump. Let me just put it very briefly.
Yeah.
So, is Europe going to, in a state of panic, that Chinese exports will be diverted from the United States to avoid the tariffs to Europe? Is the European Union going to slap more?
It doesn't want to work.
Tariffs on China?
It doesn't want to work.
In other words, is the war, the tariff war that Trump has unleashed against the rest of the world, the entire world, is this going to become a tariff war of all against all? And that will depend on whether the European Union decides to take an aggressive stand towards China, to which China will retaliate, or whether the European Union and China can come closer together in the same way that over the last few weeks we have seen quite a remarkable rapprochement between China and Japan and China and South Korea. So it depends on the rest of the world how they're going to respond to the Trump shock in exactly the same way that it depended in 1971 how they reacted to the Nixon shock.
Well, actually, on that point, I wanted to ask you about this post from Bill Ackman, who on X last night said the countries that make the first tariff deals with Trump will make the better deals. The countries that wait or retaliate will regret that they were not part of the early deal group or worse. What do you think of that?
I'm not sure I agree with this because Trump's conception of the world is that of a bicycle wheel, where he's the hub in the middle, and then there are different spokes. And he's going to negotiate with, he isolates every spoke separately. If he loses some spokes, the wheel still works, still turns. It doesn't matter to him very much who's going to be the first one. It's not a fixed sum or zero-sum game. He wants different things from different people. Now, the order or the sequence in which he's going to get them doesn't really matter that much. So no, this is the kind of tweet or post one uses in order to create even more panic in their
tweet. I love my Balkan King. This is kind of tweet
minds of the weaker parties to this bargain. What I find fascinating is the attempt to have their cake and eat it. That is the Trump administration. They want to reduce the value of the dollar, which they are succeeding in doing, clearly, looking at the markets today, while at the same time they don't want to see the dollar losing its exorbitant privilege. So he wants to, let's say, bargain with the Japanese and get them to sell a large chunk of the $1.2 trillion that they have in savings without buying euros. Doing anything that will reduce the value of the dollar without undermining its reserve currency status. And with each country or economic bloc that they will negotiate, they will ask for different things. So, for instance, for Germany, they will say, don't you dare stop BASF or Mercedes from shifting their production plants to the United States. From the Chinese, they will demand other things. And, Trump is quite nonchalant. He says, well, if my negotiations with the Chinese in the end, or with the Malaysians or the Bangladeshis don't work out for me, well, at least I will have an income stream from the tariffs that they will be paying.
If we take Trump's stated goals seriously, I'm curious, Yanis, what you make of the likelihood that these tactics, the strategy, will actually achieve the goals that Donald Trump says he's trying to achieve with quote-unquote Liberation Day tariffs.
I don't know why, but the camera resolution they have here makes Yanis look like CGI. He's yassified, bro. He's using the active zoom or whatever AI prettification filter. My man is growing vain.
There's no doubt that he will succeed in achieving his objectives to some extent, to some magnitude. Already, there are plans by Germans, by Japanese, even by some Chinese business people, to shift production to the United States. So there is going to be a flood of investment into the United States. There is going to be a reduction in the trade deficit of the United States. The question is, are the costs going to be greater than the benefits for Trump?
Right.
And allow me to say that I think from a political perspective, not so much from an economic perspective, Trump's greatest enemy, the thing that should keep him up at night with terrible nightmares, is the prospect of complete success. Because suppose he succeeds, I'm not saying he will, but suppose he succeeds beyond his own dreams to eliminate the trade deficit of the United States through these tactics. Let's say he doesn't, okay? He's going to have some very angry mates in the New York Stock Exchange and in the real estate market in Miami, in California, in Manhattan. Why? Because the trade deficit of the United States, as of the mid-1970s, to this day, has been operating as a huge vacuum cleaner that has been sucking the capital of the world, the profits of foreign capitalists, into New York and into the real estate markets of the United States. So if he eliminates the trade surplus, which is keeping the realtors and the financiers happy and plumb, he will have some very irate financiers and realtors knocking on his door. And he will have a terrible dilemma for him, delicious from my perspective, as one of his political enemies. He will have to choose whom to betray, the American working class that voted him in, or his mates in the financial and real estate sectors.
It's very easy who he will betray, and that's what I've been trying to say this entire stream. All the benefits that regular Americans might receive in the best case scenario of this tariff war are going to be 1/10 of what they imagined. Because of the restructuring of domestic commodity production that is now going to be flowing into the United States instead of existing as an outsourced entity in the third world, the only way to make that sustainable for domestic capitalists in the United States with American salaries is to quite literally cut the salaries or cut any other type of benefit that might exist domestically. I would unironically be surprised if they do not start creating newer and newer models of the gig economy, but even for production lines, right? Like massive oversimplification of production lines where you have slots, basically, and people can quite literally right, okay, I can work 4 hours on Tuesday, 6 hours on Wednesday, etc., and they just come in, they plug in, and they immediately start producing. There is no need for training or anything like that, and vice versa. They cannot unionize, and more importantly, they cannot ask for any sort of benefit or minimum wage or anything of that sort. Stay very simplified, tinfoil hat type shit, type solution to the problem that anybody in Silicon Valley can think up in like 15 seconds. Nightmarish concept from the 19th century, yeah? Because I do not see any viability for domestic capitalists to be okay with paying salaries that are the current American standard. And I think everybody's focusing a little bit too much on how much the cost will increase because the domestic capitalists will understand that this unsustainable, massive cost increase will cut into their bottom line. You get me? It will cut into their bottom line. The smart domestic capitalists will try to make the price relatively stable as it was pre-tariffs, by cutting the main thing they've become experts in cutting. And that is what? That is labor cost. Okay? The dumb ones will, yes, increase the product price of their product. Consumption will fall, and through that, the economy will indirectly also be hit.
I think
I was just watching the last deprogram episode. You interrupted yourself from being watched by me. Legendary. Thank you, Gabriel. You exist in the Yugo ecosystem now. You cannot exit, okay? YugopnikTwitch, First Thought, regular channel, the Yugopnik live channel. If you're not subscribed, please do so. The ecosystem is strong, and it is ever developing and ever enveloping of every single moment of your life that you could be spending smoking trees and touching grass.
Know what my guesses are.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually sort of the perfect test of the true soul of MAGA, now that you put it that way. Yeah.
Hey, Hugo, could you get Giannis? Yeah, we tried. I don't think it's happening. I don't know. We might be too, I don't know. Not his type of aesthetic. Problematic, let's call that the term. Which, okay, I understand. Falling rate of profit nowadays. Profits of industry, even with monopoly power, are much lower. Yeah.
Giannis, can you talk to us a little bit more about what the potential cost?
Yeah, that's what I keep harping on when it comes to the capitalist reacting to falling rate of profit. Because the capitalist, sorry if this is boring to some of you, but the capitalist reacted to the foreign rate of profit by outsourcing. And now he potentially no longer has the option of outsourcing. So he will either leave the American market as is. He will, that's number one. Number two, he will sell at higher costs, which will lower sales so exponentially that it will not offset the amount he's making per product, because the cost will rise, but his profit rate will not rise. I hope you understand that, which is ironic. This will damage the domestic American capitalist because his profit, just his costs will increase. That's why the costs will go up, the cost of price. His production cost will increase, which will increase consumer price, which he will try to offset by cutting labor cost. Because I don't think people understand how greedy these people are. Like, the profit margin cannot be fucking touched, and if they understand that it's being hit, they will extract it from labor. People will get, even the jobs that they do get, best case scenario, will be exceptionally shitty.
Costs.
So child labor, unironically, yeah. Prison labor, that's gonna be the next big thing. If you do not have a soul. And if there's a publicly traded prison labor company, put all your money in that. And you'll make, in 10 years, you can retire in, I don't know, a Floridian prison labor upkept hotel complex.
Could be not just to, the financial sector, but when you're mentioning the American working class, sort of the core politically, again, of the Trump base, economically, even if there's this flood of investments coming into the U.S., the
next big thing is just the status quo of America today. You get what I mean. The size of it will make what we have now look like an absolute fucking joke. The amount of prison labor.
Donating so I don't dox myself. But I work at Bretton Woods, where they set up the Bretton Woods system, and there's a good chunk of our orientation that's devoted to throwing some anti-commie bullshit at you about it. It'd be funny if it wasn't sad.
That's hilarious. Thank you very much for the money, my friend. If you work at Bretton Woods, throw a little bit more. I'm kidding. If you ever want to share some of the anti-commie stuff that they send your way, post it in chat or send it to my mods. That would be a very fun thing to react to. But it's a pleasure to have you here, comrade. Thank you for the money.
More manufacturing jobs, and people benefit from that. What other consequences, negative consequences, could the working class in the United States see as a result of the agenda Trump laid out last night?
Well, the worst case scenario for the working class in the United States is if this capital influx into the United States produces very few good quality jobs, but his tax cuts, which are coming, they haven't come yet, but they will hit the ground at some point, massively boost the income and therefore the bargaining power of employers.
So basically El Salvador and the USA. Yes, but also just El Salvador and more countries becoming El Salvador. Like, you increase tariffs on a potential product from a country. So it becomes too expensive, cannot compete with other cheaper products. So people stop importing it in the United States, right? That's the commonly accepted logic. But what if the third party, the foreign country you're importing from, uses prison labor? The prison labor can offset the cost so much that even with the tariff, it becomes cheaper domestically. So the tariffs do motivate greatly an expansion of so-called sweatshops and prison labor and unpaid labor and slave labor and every other definition of manners through which one can not only minimize but remove labor cost as an obstacle to profit generation. So yes, more prison labor in the United States as a way to offset, but also more prison labor and slave labor and sweatshop labor everywhere else. This will be directly caused by this because domestic and foreign capital, that's a very good point that you brought up that made me think of it. Foreign capitalists that, really rely on the American market will now have to offset the tariff somehow, and they will offset the tariff maybe not by going and opening production lines in the United States, but by simply milking their domestic population even harder than they've done up until that moment. So the outcome is hyper-exploitative, surprising. Yes, right? Super mind-blowing. It's as if it's a systematic problem and not a fucking policy problem. Jesus Christ.
When the labor market is not particularly boosted by whatever capital floods into the United States, then the hard-pressed and impoverished working class that voted for him are going to be very disappointed with him, and they're going to essentially keep losing bargaining power and purchasing power like they have been since 1975, 1973. So that's the worst case scenario.
What's this, Robo? What? Shobya? No, not this. Clips. Clip.
Oh man, we must think of the rich people, the fucking some people's kids. Oh my god.
Wait, it's too good.
Oh man, we must think of the rich people. Fucking some people's kids. Rich people. They all fuck kids.
I mean, I stand by this this thesis. This is a thesis hill I will gladly thesis die on.
For the American working class. At the same time, it all depends. It's a system of equations, not just one equation in one unknown, because you have the tax cuts. Exactly what are they going to be? Social Security, food stamps. Let's not forget that if it weren't for Social Security and food stamps in the United States, the poverty line would engulf another 15-20% of the population. So what is he going to do with these? Are these going to be part of the savage cuts by Elon Musk and his Doge team? So it's all up in the air. And we are waiting with bated breath.
Jan, like great analysis, but that's the problem with hyper-intellectuals such as this gentleman, is that basically no hot takes because they're intellectuals. It's all like, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. The entire interview is him saying, we have to wait and see how foreign states react. We have to wait and see how Trump reacts to how foreign states react. We have to see how the class dichotomy domestically and abroad reacts, how it readjusts, etc., etc. It's great. It's informative, but it's really not top tier React content, if you know what I mean. Do you fuck with Romania? Of course, I love Romanians.
Breath to find out what the the actual solution to that system of equations is.
Can I ask what you made of the rollout? Donald Trump is at the White House yesterday. He's got these big charts with all of these different countries, some of which are absolutely tiny, and people have mocked the formula that that they use to put the numbers up on the charts. It was quite a scene. I'm curious what you made of it, Giannis.
Well, as for the formula itself, the algebraic formula, it's really very simple. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is typical Trumpism that, he misidentifies variables, and he talked about the effective tariffs, which he thinks that China and the European Union and Britain are imposing on American goods. There is no such thing in his calculation. His calculation is simply he takes the trade deficit, he divides it by the American imports from that particular country, and then divides that by 2. And that's the tariffs that he slaps on people. So it really doesn't matter whether you have a trade surplus to the United States because you are selling something to the United States that the United States could never get hold of, or because you are manipulating your currency or using unfair trade practices. But look, that whole scene at the Rose Garden yesterday was, I think it was a brilliant Goebbels-like propaganda performance.
Just made for extra stupid people. I'm not calling Nazis smart or fucking 1930s Germans smart, but still. Look at this! Dude, it was literally this.
Wonderful, a new child.
It's literally this.
Subscriber.
Look at this graph.
And the entirety of the American people be like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Do what? Crash the economy. Cause look
at this graph.
Love the song, brother. Yeah, brother. Thank you very much. Horse beef. What up, big guy? What up, big guys? Well, thank you very much. And thank you, Maple Takes, for the 8 months.
FYI, Overzealots posted asking people to tell you he loves your work and thanks you for watching his stuff. Oh, thank you very much. I love his work as well. Yeah, I think I saw the post. That was very kind. That was very chill. They're doing great, and they're growing fast, and I'm really happy with... I'm really happy with them. They're really, everything, the argumentation, everything, it's done exceptionally well. It's going to be a great member of the beautiful pipeline. Someone tell Yugopnik that I love his work and I appreciate him. Yo. Okay. So don't slob your knob. This is all I'm saying, okay? But no, thank you. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. Thank you, and apologies for stealing your content to react to it from time to time. I know how it feels as a former and sometimes member of the Communist Agitators Online that actually make stuff and not just fucking react to it. This is my video essayist era reactionary take. It will never leave my body. The belief of the superiority of the video essay. Remember when that was a whole debate? When that was a whole discussion? When that was like the whole thing? We have grown a lot. Like, that was a whole thing for like 2 months. Like, what is better, streamers or video essayists? Who the fuck asked? Both of you are fucking irrelevant. Both of us are irrelevant because 2 wolves exist in me or whatever the fuck. Reactgate, yes. It was called Reactgate? Oh no. Oh, come on. It wasn't that big for it to have gate attached to it. I'm streamer, video essayist. I am, you do not understand the level of the complexity of what happened in brain. Yes, it was. It actually was. They still call it that. The whole discussion about whether it's ethical for someone to react to someone else's content or whether we should define it as theft. That's, I think, what you guys are alluding to. I'm more alluding to there was a big debate in the Vosh era when people were like, who contributes more materially to the cause or whatever LARPy shit like that. Those who stream live and teach thousands, or those who make videos that are watched by tens of thousands. Jebe mater, brate. Zapadni degenerici, ono.
the liberal establishment looks at it with scorn and with contempt for the uncouthness and the kitsch nature of it, they're missing the point. It's meant to be uncouth. It's meant to be kitsch. He's talking to a particular clientele who actually love that kind of low-tech presentation. It's not that he doesn't have the capacity to use.
No, he's literally inspired by, I'm telling you, firing all the people in the State Department, not in the State Department, in different state functions, defunding CIA foreign policy tools, and the way he presents, I genuinely think that Donald Trump is inspired by Vučić, the Serbian president. Okay. Look how Vučić presents everything like this, or Vučić karta, map, or he goes like this. He goes he does this. He does this all the time. Okay, so he writes on a board for people like they're idiots, or he goes up to a map and he's like, "Look at this. We made this road," and then he talks for for 25 minutes. About a particular thing, right? He makes it extra idiot-proof. So what I'm basically saying is that the Balkans influence everything. And look, he's literally my people are monkeys. I will explain it to them with stick and board, okay? I am teacher man. I am analog teacher man. So what I'm saying is there's a direct Vučić to Trump pipeline on how to be a proper ruler, okay? People say that the Americans send PR agencies to help out Vučić when it comes to his governance of Serbia. Well, I think they did do that, but then the PR agents were like, oh my God, this guy is better than us. We must learn. We must learn and readapt that shit back home, bro. We all know you outside your video essay to the Albanians you have locked in your basement. You outsourced it. You're trying to say my new videos suck? I'm kidding. That was a good one. But I would never work with an Albanian. What the fuck?
Use AI and beautiful graphics and to look like Bloomberg if he wants to. He knows what a Bloomberg screen looks like. He wants this ramshackle thing because this is what excites his base.
Right. Giannis, is there anything that you think is missing from the broader media conversation that we haven't covered yet, but that could be in the near future as a consequence of this? I mean, one of the takes, I wonder whether this was Bill Ackman who also posted this, the idea that Trump is a madman, right? He's intentionally being the madman, Kissinger-esque negotiator here, and people don't know exactly how far he's willing to go, with which country and on what issue. Is there something that we're just missing that could happen in the next few weeks or few months that you think is outside of the media conversation right now?
Well, look, that he's certainly pretending to be mad, and there's no doubt about that. And this is the whole point about the madman.
When I disappear from the camera, I'm just usually either blowing my nose, readjusting my reproductive organs, or drinking some water.
Strategy, if it is highly rational to pretend to be irrational, because that's how you scare the living daylights out of your opponents. Is he inarticulate? I think he is. Are his economic advisors inarticulate? No, they're not. If you read their stuff, they know what they're doing. They know their stuff. What I think is missing from, especially in Europe, is a very serious willingness to look inside themselves and look at their own problems. You see that Germany and Japan, which were creatures after 1945 of the United States Grand Plan known as Bretton Woods, they were created as surplus producing countries. This was their role in that American design. Well, that American design is now dead in the water, and the United States no longer is prepared to accept their surpluses. And what you don't have, this is what's missing in the media, in parliaments actually, in the public discourse, is a serious reconsideration by Europeans and by the British and by the Japanese and to some extent by the Chinese to say, okay, look, the era during which we lived on the American trade deficit is gone.
Right.
How are we going to rebalance our economy so we are no longer dependent on the United States? You have all this.
I don't understand why he thinks that's the case. Maybe because he was hyper disappointed by his experiences with the EU, etc., etc. But I think there are conversations inside of the EU and definitely conversations inside. What the fuck? I can't believe he mentioned China. What? In China, in Korea, and definitely now in Vietnam, about how to properly readjust in the coming decades. Is it going to take certain parties a lot longer to readjust, both because they are so deeply tied in to the American financial system and just the American logistical kind of underpinning? Sure, but the thought that they're not talking is like, what? What's up, Maple Takes? Yeah, like there are other trade partners like BRICS members, etc., that will offset the impact of losing the U.S. consumers. Potentially, yes. They have the balls to do so. I agree completely. Everybody go check out Maple Takes, dear friend of the show. Also streamer fucking based shit. And most importantly, not American, okay? We as Canada are pretty cucked at the moment, but we need to diversify. Hopefully the good type of Canadian nationalist realizes that. But we all know that every nationalist of a Western state is de facto pro-American for some fucking reason. Why is it not reading it out? Ask someone what their favorite fruit was. Tell me why. Yeah, because of the curse word, I think it doesn't read it out. I'm sorry, Barry, but thank you, Barry.
Talk in the European Union about becoming independent of the United States in terms of military production and armaments, but no discussion about how they're going to stop the mercantilist process that keeps Germany totally dependent on the U.S. trade deficit. And what this means in practice is, are they going to create in Europe a large-scale investment vehicle that converts the ample liquidity in the financial markets of Europe into productive investments? Because
if they're not cuckolds, they will.
They haven't invested anything in the last 15, 20 years. That's why, Germany is now deindustrializing, because they can't compete with BYD. They cannot compete with, solar panels. They cannot compete with wind power.
Come on, Giannis. It's because they were told to deindustrialize. Bruv, okay? Both the Russians and the Americans were pitching for Germany to deindustrialize by quite literally lobbying the domestic political parties. It's the one thing they all agreed on, the pro-Russian and the pro-Western parties in Germany. Come on, brother.
Coming from either the United States or China. So there's none of that discussion. The discussion is retaliation. As
China just doesn't give a fuck.
As if.
Literally, from a conversation with a close friend of mine that is a EU lobbyist, he's like, there's no Chinese money. Like, they're just not lobbying. But that might change now.
The European Union.
Maybe they send some cash over to us Xi Jinping stan streamers, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, eh?
Every time I hear Ursula von der Leyen saying, we have a very strong package.
I asked someone what their favorite fruit was. Tell me why this bitch said Apple Pay.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Oh, bad.
Package of retaliatory measures. No, you don't. If you are running a 240 billion surplus with the United States, you will run out of things to tariff before he does. So cut it off and start looking, into the structural problems of your own economy. So until we do that, I think Trump can do anything he wants with us.
Yeah. Well, Giannis, thank you so much for your time in this very busy period. We appreciate it. This was super helpful.
Yeah, most.
So this is interesting. You see, basically, Varoufakis' analysis is that the American Trump advisors realize just how much levying power the United States still has in the international economy. And they think that in the long term, possibly it might end up being a smart play. Giannis is not saying that that's going to happen or that it is a smart play. He is simply talking about the analysis, okay? So we had the Wolfian analysis that this is an empire in decline that is basically a spasming dead body trying to claw its way out of a problem that is caused by the very system that they do not want to reject, right? It's one analysis on why they're doing it, that it's kind of like internalized ideology, you know, that it's just the course of imperial capital in decline. And we have the Varoufakis analysis, which is they did sit down and they said we're going to hedge our bets and we're going to try and do this because at this time we still have a lot more levying power than what we might have in the future, so why not utilize it right now? So I think both correct takes from where we're standing right now. We'll see where it goes. Me as a you know, classic fucking Marxist, I tend to agree with Wolf a little bit more because it shows all of the factors that would be necessary for a system in decline, basically spasming. That's what we basically said in the first stop video about how it's how this is what happens with every single empire and has happened throughout history. Imbecilic, insane policies that are supposed to attempt to save hegemony, but end up speeding up the process of hegemony itself being destroyed. But, you know, never underestimate the enemy. Us communists are known to do that, so it might be different. I believe Yanis more because he has the boldness buff. The Balkan buff, come on. Thank you, Einar Spills, my friend, for the 6 months. Have you read Techno-Feudalism? Yes, and I like it. Thank you, Job Del Soy, for the 2 months as well. Thank you very kindly, you beautiful fucking subscribers. Fuck. Oh, I love having bread and paying my mortgage. It's the best. Genuinely, thank you. Okay, now moving back into
the countdown is.
Oh my God! Shut up, BBC woman! God fucking damn it!
So we better.
No, Giannis! Oh my God! I press buttons too fast. I'm too fast for my own good, man. Too fast at the click. I click so fast, so good, man. The clicks are so fast and so fucking good. Now, third smart guy, but a bit too mild for my taste, but we still respect him. Gary, and he has Ha-Jun Chang. I'm probably mispronouncing that greatly. An economist, so-so, interesting person, so-so. But let's see what the hot takes are here.
Like suddenly saying, okay, I have this 45-year-old son who's not doing very well. No. I'm going to protect him, yeah?
They're a South Korean economist, by the way. They specialize in institutional economics and development. Basically, an economist that really thinks that being an economist is a science. Something as a person with a business administration degree that I disagree with. Okay, economists are, how do I put this? Are like the weather guy. They're very, very good in explaining why the weather is the way it is right now or what the weather is going to be in the next 2-3 days. But they are very bad at telling you what the weather is going to be in like 3-4 years. And they are very good at making excuses on why their prediction of what the weather is going to be like failed. So there is great use for economists, but to call it a hard science is naive at best and contrarian to the soul of the capitalist market at worst. Thank you, Barry, for another gifty. Barry, I fucking love you.
Yeah, okay. We have in the news today. Today is, what is it called? Freedom Day.
Liberation
Day. Today is the day that today is the day that Donald Trump is trying to impose a lot of tariffs. So I know you talk a lot in your work about how poor countries become rich. It's a really interesting topic because really
it is hard science if you got good quantum. Yeah, let's quant Let's quant. I respect my quant kids. My quant kids. Unc loves you. But sometimes, you're too cold-blooded, okay? The quant does not attribute some factors, if you know what I mean. Also, contemporary Orthodox economists are just basically hallucinating. They predict why what already happened happens. It's hard science because it makes Wall Street hard. Oh no, it's hard science because it makes Wall Street hard. That's what.
Not a lot of poor countries have successfully become rich in the last 70 years, and Korea is probably like one of the outstanding examples of one that I'm reading about trying to impose a lot of tariffs. So I know you talk a lot in your work about how poor countries become rich. It's a really interesting topic because really not a lot of
what are poor countries, what are rich countries, what are the factors that we're using to define this incredibly abstract fucking notion. Oh my god, I'm already disliking this.
Poor countries have successfully become rich in the last 70 years, and Korea is probably like one of the outstanding examples of one that has done. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding of your work,
yeah, I mean, it's easy to become, well, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to preemptive strike South Korea harder than what the DPRK did, but it's a lot easier for you to become a developed economy when the world's wealthiest economy spends trillions of dollars in order to make you big time rise up so that you can appear to be far superior to its class conscious neighbor, right?
You speak a lot.
This is not me doing like DPRK apology or whatever the fuck. This is just 50% of the reason why South Korea is successful and wealthy is because the Americans wanted it to be successful and wealthy. They basically treated it as its own 51st state and developed as such.
A lot about how actually a lot of the countries which did become rich, not just Korea, but also including the United States in its history and the United Kingdom, use things like tariffs.
Fucking imperialism. Oh my God.
And things like protectionism. Yeah. So I guess I couldn't really have you on today on Trump's tariff day without asking you what you think about tariffs as a concept, what you think about Trump's tariffs plans, whether you think will they improve living standards for Americans?
Yeah.
He's an economist. Tariffs have been used in the past. It really depends what you're using tariffs for. Blanket tariffs in the current situation make no sense, even though sometimes they've worked. Sorry for spoiling the video, but I'm putting 20 gift subs on the table right now if they don't cover those 3 points. If they don't cover them, I give 20 gift subs.
First of all, tariffs, like all other policy tools, can be used for good, used for bad purposes. Yeah. So there's no tool that is universally good or universally bad. Yeah. So it all depends on why you are using it, how you are using it. Yeah. So
well, Hugo, what's wrong with the DPRK? There's 2 rules of Yugopnik Live. I don't talk about sex work, and I don't talk about the DPRK, okay? Because I like a career.
The most successful use of tariffs is based on this idea of infant industry protection. Yeah? So the idea is basically that the governments of economically backward nations need to protect and nurture their industries through tariffs, but also other means like subsidies and so on, so that they can grow up and compete with superior foreign firms eventually. But while they develop, they need to be protected. And the hint is in the name. I mean, it's based on the idea of child rearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but very importantly, in order for them to develop inside of the state by selling to the domestic consumer demographic, to the local purchasers, right? That's what you want to do. The only way you can utilize that is if you have a large enough base of potential consumers, aka only countries with large populations can use tariffs to protect a fledgling industry so that it can grow without having to compete with far more developed foreign industries, and basically establish itself domestically, and then eventually start selling internationally, at which point the tariffs are removed because your country is no longer the only market in which they're competing. So let's say a South Korean company wants to sell cars. South Korea wants to protect it while it develops and becomes the dominating car manufacturer for the South Korean public. Once it becomes the dominating car manufacturer for the South Korean public, it will have enough money, power, leverage, and so on to branch out into international markets. Once it does so, you remove sanctions because, like, okay, what the fuck? That's basically it. South Korea bragging about its economic development is like Trump bragging about his investments after he got a small loan of $1 million. Oh. Yeah, Chang is very critical of capitalism. Not Chang is chill. I've seen some TED Talks and shit, but we're not shit talking Chen. I'm just being reactionary when it comes to economists in general. I apologize. Is it that much of a controversy, the sex work debate in the streamer world? Apparently it is. I have my own opinions, but they're like... You know what the controversy is in the streamer world, my friend? To say that you do not know enough about a topic. Okay? That is the controversial thing. And when it comes to sex work, I do not know enough about the topic in order for me to talk about it. Okay? That's the most controversial thing you can say as a streamer. Not having fucking hot takes on fucking everything. Well, I don't have hot takes on everything. I need to educate myself more, talk to people with lived experiences, etc., which I have not done. So I can't talk about it. Okay? Why does somebody have to have an opinion on that? Like, okay, ask me about what do I think about the differing theorems on developing nuclear energy through cold fusion or that other type of fucking fusion. I don't know enough about this topic in order to talk about it, and it should be based to say that you cannot.
I mean, in the same way that
For fun, what is your hottest take relating to anime? More big booba and very muscly muscle guys hurt nobody. So if you're gonna do anime hardcore. That's my hot take. Like, everybody should be ripped and everybody should have big boobas. There you go.
Could send your kids to work at the age of 5 or 6, as
many
the
people
Victorians
did in history,
yeah. And today many countries are still doing, many poor countries. And that will, in the short run, save you money, because you don't have to pay for the kids' the education, food, accommodation. He will support himself. Yeah? But this will mean that this guy can never become, I don't know, nuclear physicist or the economist. Yeah, that's right.
Big booba for men. Yeah, I didn't say. Yeah, of course. I apologize for gendering it. No, genuinely, big mistake on my end. I apologize. Apologize for gendering it. Everybody has big booba and is ripped. Okay, everybody's fucking muscle mummies. That doesn't matter if it's a boy muscle mommy or a girl muscle mommy. Everybody is. Man, I'm blushing. Okay, well, stop ruining my career. Thank you.
God forbid. Yeah, the architect. Yeah, he cannot become a high productivity person if he doesn't go to school. Go to eventually, hopefully, university. Yeah? So you need to send the kid to school until it kind of grows up, and then push it into the other labor market. Yeah. And country after country has succeeded with this scheme. And Britain, in the 18th and early 19th century, was still not the leading the technological nation in Europe because at the time Belgium, the Netherlands.
Drama Yugopnik likes attractive people. That is problematic because it'll unironically find almost everybody attractive, and it is very, very problematic. Like, most of you find like 10% of people attractive, so like you go through life relatively unobstructed. I find everybody, almost everybody, attractive except reactionary. So imagine how difficult it is even walking down a street without feeling like a fucking freak. Okay? Okay.
Parts of Italy were ahead of Britain in terms of technology. Britain used protective measures to grow its domestic industries in the 19th century and until the really Second World War. The US had very high tariffs, 40, 50%. So Trump tariff is nothing compared to that because at the time the US was basically struggling against British and other European competition. And this is an idea which was actually formalized by the first finance minister called they call it Treasury Secretary.
There are two types of communists. One never leaves room, two horny for everyone. I didn't say I'm horny for everyone. I just find everyone beautiful in their own way.
The country of the United States of America. Alexander Hamilton, the guy on the $10 bill, the guy whose the life has been made into a hip-hop musical.
Hip-hop musical though, bro? Oh my God, I'm a beautiful boomer, man. I love boomers, man. Oh, I love being out-unked. Thank you, False Carotto, for the 11 months. Be like False Carotto. And by that, I do not mean be false, but do become a child soldier / subscriber and avoid the ad that is playing in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. If you would like to support this show that talks about economy, policy, and horny, do consider supporting it financially in order for it to be able to continue to grow and prosper. Thank you, Debo, one of the OGs. Thank you, Debo. Big G, man.
Yeah. So this idea,
like Debo as well,
has enabled many nations later, Germany, Sweden, France, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, all use this idea to develop their industries.
To protect your young industries.
Yeah.
But what Trump is doing is not that.
Thank you, Debo, for the 10 fucking gifties. Everybody say, Debo, thank you. Thank you for the 45th gifty, man. Really, really respect your support for the horny economist class. Fuck all of you assholes. Fuck you too, Debo. I hate you too. Mwah.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like suddenly saying, okay, I have this 45-year-old son who's not doing very well.
No,
I'm going to protect him,
Okay.
This is nonsensical, yeah?
Yeah.
Also, he seems to think that by using
I've hit 2 out of 3, by the way. I hit 2 out of 3 in my prediction of what The Economist is going to say.
Make other countries come and invest in the U.S. And I mean, it's something that has happened many, many times in the past. Many developing countries put up high tariff wall, but that was partly to encourage their domestic producers, but also to motivate foreign companies to come and set up factories. So, for example, Brazil had a very high protection against foreign car imports in the 1960s and 70s. So Fiat, Ford, these guys came and built cars in
Brazil mentioned. Brazil,
yeah?
Yeah.
So this is known as tariff jumping. So Trump's hope is that if I set up this tariff wall, Korean companies, Japanese companies, the German companies are going to come and produce their electric cars and semiconductors. And some of it is going to happen, but the trouble is that this is not going to be even near enough for what's this expression, making America great, yeah?
Yeah. And of course it will raise the costs of...
Exactly, yeah. So, first of all, you cannot kind of rebuild these industries by simply having one factory here, one factory there, because in order to have really high productivity, you need not just the factory making the final product, but a whole kind of
ecosystem,
industrial ecosystem, as some economists call it. So you need workers with the right skills, infrastructure that is suited to the industry, even the universe.
The fucking resources that you're going to translate into the fucking product. Okay, products that people don't go into a factory and like hammer air and then make a car out of it. Okay, you will still have to pay enormous fucking money post tariff for the imports that you are now requiring from countries that are now tariffing you as well to get the baseline resource in order to build a thing. That's why I keep harping. The only thing that domestic American capitalists will be able to play around with is domestic labor cost. Like, come on! It's only the domestic labor cost. Everything else will be defined by foreign capitalists, foreign producers, right? And domestic infrastructure costs. Something that they cannot really influence except through massive policy domestically. I'm talking about the infrastructure segment, okay? But the other thing that they will be able to manipulate very easily is basically the cost of labor, aka salaries, which they will lower in order to offset their increased costs. Blat.
The departments are doing research in the area that you are specializing in. So unless you have this tissue of support system, you're not going to achieve high productivity.
Yeah.
But secondly, the most...
that's how it works in Skyrim. Don't you? No, you need resources in Skyrim as well.
Something that most people don't even realize is that the U.S. financial system is now so parasitic that it's not going to allow Mr. Trump's plan to work, because the idea is that when you give protection, your domestic companies will not only have the protection from foreign competition, but also have extra resources, because they can charge more. And the hope is that they'll use that resource to invest in raising productivity, which is what happened in Japan, Korea. Now, the U.S. financial system is actually going to drain this extra resource from these companies and make the income inequality even worse. Because in the last 25 years, top American corporations have given away something like 90 to 95% of their profits to shareholders through dividends and, more importantly, the stock buybacks. So you give extra resources to these companies. Are they going to invest? No. Their shareholders will say, do more stock buybacks.
Exactly. Okay, I didn't even mention this. This makes the conundrum that I'm talking about even more fucked up.
You think it's going to lead to higher inequality?
Exactly. On top of that, you will have until you kind of build at least some.
Real purchasing power will lower. Salaries for the new production lines that might open will lower. Domestic ownership of companies by large capital will increase. That's basically the Holy Trinity. It's just not good. It's not good.
Additional industrial base, you're going to have a serious inflation problem.
I think it's
this is politically unsustainable.
We already did Varoufakis.
It's going to make life harder for poor people.
Exactly. So the inflation, increasing inequality, and seriously, I mean, you cannot rebuild an industrial base that had been eroded for the last 40 years within 2-3 years. It will take at least a couple of decades.
And these very, very broad tariffs on almost everything.
Exactly.
It seems,
that's right. I mean,
it seems unwise.
If a tariff is going to work, it has to be targeted. Do you want to develop automobile industry? Yes, protect automobile industry, but then make
make sure you have the workers for industry. And you have
There's no plan like that.
Yeah.
Not only is there no plan about particular industries, they didn't even plan on how to calculate how big the tariffs are supposed to be for particular countries versus tariffs for other countries. They literally ChatGPT'd it the fucking night before. It is, oh my God, the Trump youth rally must grow and expand. For JDPON Don is doing to the American labor aristocracy something that third world people have only ever experienced in their wettest of dreams.
So we don't think we're going to see an improvement in living standards?
No.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't be that bad. But yeah, pessimistic.
Yeah, I'm very pessimistic. But one good thing about Trump is that he has no ideology. Yeah. If it doesn't work, he'll change his mind.
I do one. Well, I've said this on the channel before. It's very hard to guess from what Trump says what Trump actually is going to do.
That's true.
So we hope he'll row back on this because I think it would be bad.
Diamonds are created under extreme pressure. So is shit.
For everyone.
And I think they're making shit here, brother.
Americans.
Exactly,
I suspect,
yeah.
Unless, I don't know, you eat really well, which I guess I don't, because my shit is made under extreme pressure. But liberals will make us believe that we can solve these systemic problems that lead to power-hungry maniacs such as Trump by just voting in less power-hungry maniacs. And whenever I hear arguments like that, I like to take out some of my most aggressive dogs and direct them at people spouting this sort of rhetoric. And who is the most aggressive dog we have in our pen? In the community of the wider shitbag leftists? Well, of course, it's bad fucking
Isn't it
empanada.
interesting?
Let's fucking go. It's drama time, bitch. Oh.
How so many people who clearly are not actually remotely on the left and are in fact just centrist liberals, nonetheless really want to appropriate that label for themselves and anyone who is actually on the left as basically some sort of crazy idiot. Let's talk about that.
Imagine saying I am on the left and then dedicating pretty much the majority, the main argument of a lot of your writing and production power to saying that everybody on the left is insane and they should become less materialist, aka less leftist, and fuck with Democrats more. Yeah. I am a leftist, but I'm putting in immense amount of resources and time and creativity in order to develop arguments on why you as a leftist should co-opt yourself into the wider Democratic Party family, right? True anti-revisionist hero Tank Empanada.
Here's a great example of it. The left always loses and it has to change. Say a whole lot of influencers whose opinions are best described.
ContraPoints more like pro-status quo points. Ay. What the fuck?
I'm Hitler's top guy.
As this is bad for your cause, says person
Clinton points.
who is against your cause. Now, if we take this statement as true, which to be clear, it's not, as many groups of people...
Contra-revolutionary points. Contra points. Oh, I like Clinton points the best.
People of varying size that could be described as having leftist ideologies have won resounding victories against often incredibly impossible odds in modern history. So first...
Cointelpro points.
What is the left? This is something that is difficult to describe in detail, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to say, very broadly, the left is basically counter-hegemonic politics, at least as it exists today in the present world system. That's what it is. Opposition to the global status quo of capitalist imperialism. And no, I'm not just talking about right-wing attempts to appropriate that sort of rhetoric and aesthetic. So when you're fighting against overwhelming power like that, you are essentially attempting...
I like his new beard and haircut. He's so sweet. Oh my god.
To unite the dispossessed, propagandized, and poor masses of the world against the very system that dominates the world and that puts them in the position that they are in. And in that situation, you are actually bound to lose a lot. A ton, in fact. Because you're not in a position of power. You're starting from basically nothing, and the people who you are opposed to have everything they could ever need to prevent you from succeeding. So of course you're going to lose a lot, especially since your ultimate victory can only ever come with basically near total systemic abolition. And this is hardly something to criticize, hardly something to use to mock others who are supposedly on your side, as this simply comes with the territory. You fight against power, you're going to take some powerful blows in return. It's normal. People thought and schemed against...
Unless you wanted to be power from the get-go. That's the big if. And it is exceptionally difficult for people whose platforms grow massively to stay away from said power subsuming them fully or partially. And unfortunately, ContraPoints, that's my argument, is the example of somebody just like, I'm sorry, like I also grew up on ContraPoints, right? I was watching ContraPoints before I started making my shit. Partially was an inspiration to start making my shit. But that's what being a sellout is, bro. Like, you talk shit to power until you become power, and then you're like, man, power isn't that bad. You guys should stop shit talking power, like, now that I have power. So yeah, that it is what it is. Opportunism, a tale as old as time. Indeed, brother.
Monarchy for many hundreds, if not thousands of years as well. Yet I couldn't imagine a supposed good faith critic who's actually on the side of those anti-monarchists, mocking them for supposedly being huge losers who just can't win because of some sort of flaw with how they operate or what they believe. All because they dared to try and fail against impossible odds. Or at least odds that seemed impossible until all of a sudden the whole thing came crashing down.
Yeah, I imagine like...
Hello, fellow serfs. I know you want to overthrow the God King, but have you ever considered that God wants him to be king? So, you should be happy with receiving 22% of your rations instead of 20%, the way the French king wants to give you. So support your British king who wants to give you 22% of the food that you produce for him, instead of the French king who only wants to give you 20. Type shit.
So, quite simply, Natalie Wynn and others like her are not on...
Stop talking about overthrowing monarchy or the king. That is some loser bitch-ass behavior, okay? You need to be pragmatic. Because if you're not pragmatic, the French king might come and take away that extra 2%. Don't you care about those extra 2%? That's like a 10% minus. If you spend too much of your time talking about how you want to remove the king and then have take 100% of your toils, you are just a utopian fucking loser, bitch, fucking idiot. By the way, I'm also an anti-monarchist. But I also think that people that talk truth to monarchists are pussy bitches.
On the left.
Now don't listen to Yugo, chat. Give us power. Give us power and we'll sell you out for 5 years and then turn into the TF2 spy. Got you. Oh, God.
Not at all. Not even close. Nor is she someone who wants to see the left win, as she implies. She in fact wants the exact opposite to that. She is someone who is interested in liquidating the left.
But sir, if we get 100% of our crop, we'll become lazy. Who will think of the kings as well? There were some incredible kings, much better than the other kings. Why are you generalizing all the kings? There are some feudal lords under the banner of a current monarch that are quite based and chill, right? They also let women work on the fields. So you want to stand against those feudal lords? Because there's a chance that when the French feudal lords come, they will not let the women work on the fields. That is what you really want. You want to take away the hard-earned right of female serfs to be serfs.
Left in everything but name, and then appropriating that name, that branding, for the status quo. The result of the thinking and prescriptions of the many people like this.
Isn't this just the reformist versus revolutionary argument leftists have been having forever? Not this one, okay? I do believe that you can be a true, well-meaning reformist leftist. Advocating for a fucking comprador class fucking capitalist party who has capitalism in its fucking name, who has caused the death of over 100,000 fucking people during its last fucking term, that is not being a reformist. That is supporting imperialist capitalist fucking psychos. Okay? There is no good intention there. That is not speaking truth to power. That is wanting to suck on power's fucking fleshy knob.
Are always the same. The supposed left for them is presented.
So that's not leftist infighting because there's no left there, bruv. Okay?
Not as an actual political framework, as a set of principles to abide by or aims to aim for, but rather it's like a sports team, and it's simply using the wrong tactics. In order to succeed, it needs to start using tactics that are closer to those that have already proven to be successful, like being closer to the status quo. So if the left is to start winning, it needs to be more.
Yeah, it's literally like the parliamentarian like fucking monarchists. Oh my God, the king let us have like a little parliament in which we can decide on particular social issues. Why would you support the unhinged guys that want to get rid of the monarch in general? Oh.
More and more hegemonic. It needs to stop being against the dominant system and being more for it. It has to make concessions to the status quo. It needs to become a part of the system itself. But the left is not a sports team. So to treat it as you would your like city name sports bears, as people like this very much would like you to, just out to sort of win for the sake of winning, is a demand for the left to abandon everything that actually makes it the left. Because the left is not a team that is out to win the championship, which to people like this is just helping the US Democrats win the latest election. And
which is, suffice to say, incredibly fucking privileged, okay? If you're just simply playing it as a game, means what? That you don't have that much to lose, okay? So you are quite literally conditioned by your material conditions to be, you know, you don't want to be temporarily embarrassed, and you want to be able to sit at brunch and tell your friends about how fucking awesome it is that we won this term versus that other term that we lost, which was so fucked up.
Literally nothing else in the world exists, not another country, not another political race, nothing. So if what you value is just being on the winning side, rather than actually fighting a world genociding system and its beneficiaries and advocates and representatives who will defend it to the death, then you should just join the side of the American empire. Rather than pretending to be against it, but just being pragmatic in your means and ending up being a part of it, as people like this do. And Natalie Wynn provides us with an excellent example of how to do that, as she factually does exactly that. She's a good pal of arch-imperialist, genocidal war criminal Hillary Clinton, showing quite clearly where her political prescriptions actually lead, right into one side of the American empire's two-party system. Wow, great leftism. So her goal is not to help the left win or whatever. Her goal is to move you from the left to the center, to get you operating within the confines of the
Freudian Hugo to enter chat for a second. It's to want to be a part of the top strata, but tell yourself that it is you're a part of the good part of the top strata, if you know what I mean. Like wanting to have the cake and fucking eat it too. That's why you shift the goalpost and you say, the Democrats are the only path to success of the left, because the more radical more radical suggestions of the bigger radicals do not co-align with your own personal material interests.
The status quo to make you no longer a threat to the system.
Exactly, to make yourself look like you're no longer a threat to the system, and to make others, more importantly in my opinion, to make others stop considering you a member of the system, but actually opposition of the system.
And to assure you that you and her in this position will be those who are actually somehow challenging the system and all of its innate injustices. Unlike the...
It's hippie shit, bro. It's hippie shit. It's hippie shit. Sitting around a fucking campfire singing Kumbaya and saying, fuck the man. But then not really doing anything about the fucking man.
Stupid loser leftists who lose by getting genocided by her friend Hillary Clinton and others like her. Stupid losers, why don't they just join the winning team like she did? So her goal is to make the left mean something else entirely. She wants to appropriate the name for the system. Someone like this who has benefited so much from the present system that it's even gotten her direct connections to some of the most powerful and ruthless criminals at its head, that she can live a lavish life of producing one single substanceless video once every 2 years. Her class position is that of someone who has every incentive to push you towards maintaining the system that so benefits her. And that is precisely what she does. It's what's expected of her. She's no one special here. A drop in the bucket. There are countless millions upon millions of others whose job it is to do the exact same thing. And it's on you to prevent them from misleading you. Because if you're already here, then it's going to be because you either believe yourself to be in a position in which the current system doesn't work for you, or unlike Natalie Wynn, you care enough about other people to look beyond your own interests and try to help prevent the system from hurting others anymore. That makes you ripe for recruitment to this so-called left, and that makes you a danger to people like her and their class position. So her role is to take advantage of that, to reach out to people like you and convince you that you can somehow fight this system by becoming a part of it, by, joining the Democratic Party or whatever, by aligning yourself with the very butchers whose primary concern is and always will be maintaining it. But you obviously can't fight the system in that way. The way that you fight it is a whole lot more difficult than that, a whole lot less comfortable to think about than that, something that takes a whole lot more work than just doing that does. It's building something yourself with others like you, rather than just being subsumed into the status quo and changing absolutely everything about your actual beliefs and aims to the point that they are unrecognizable in the name of simply winning. Don't let them lie to you. I don't like to cater to the extreme focus on Americans and the USA in these sorts of discussions, though it's kind of inevitable. So look, the entire reason that you guys are in the mess that you're in now, which for the rest of us isn't really much of a mess at all.
Lele Bate! Fucking holy motherfucker. Yeah, baby.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
Fuck yeah! Thank you very, very fucking much. Stop giving a shit. Thank you fucking Barry. Thank you Pizza fucking Famine, motherfucker. Hype train time, motherfucker. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Level 10? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? I'm so fucking looped up, I don't even think I'll feel it when I go in. What the shit?
Let me immediately open fucking Chinese TikTok. Holy shit, which is what we do when we have a hype trade. Thank you so much. Stop giving a shit. And Pizza Famine and fucking Barry. What the fuck is wrong with you, you beautiful pieces of shit? Thank you, Cynical Chris. Crazy hamburger bust out the vodka. Don't get me down a slippery slope, motherfucker. That is sick as shit, man. Thank you so much. What the fuck? Wait, where is Chinese TikTok? Here it is. What the actual mother of my bitch? Holy fuck. Damn, son. Damn, son. Chinese TikTok time, bro. Thank you so much.
Oh, banana! She gives me a banana! Oh, banana!
Stop giving a shit, fucking stop! I will fucking, what the fuck? What the fuck? Stop giving, somebody got a big payday, bro. Level 11, let's fucking go!
Why does my line art all...
What the fuck? Thank you, man. You guys are awesome. No, but I think that means something else in Chinese, though. I don't know if it's this kid. What the fuck? Thank you, Atokuri. What the fuck, Atokuri? Jesus Christ. Are we hitting records today? I don't think so. We're level 17 hype train. No fucking way. No fucking way. Thank you, Atokuri, man. Not, and then he still says the N-word. Is this a game? This has to be a game. Jesus Christ, Barry! What the fuck? The more the merrier. Let's fucking go. What the fuck? We eating good today, chat! We eating good today! I'm just buying that fucking S7 when I step out from all these fucking subs. I'm buying a brand new Audi. Fuck this. I'm turning into ContraPoints because of you fuckers. Hey, give me more subs. Maybe the Democrats have very valid opinions. Maybe it is too utopian to believe that revolution is possible in the modern context. I believe that a female capitalist president is what the United States really, really requires. If it could be a woman of color, then the rest of us in the developing world would sleep soundly at night as DEI bombs fall on our beautiful, beautiful heads. Stop the fuck shit! Stop giving a shit! What the fuck? I guess you really stopped giving a shit. Hey, what the fuck? Thank you, Orbital, for the 100, for the 300. Blять, что, блядь? I'm buying an Audi, and I'm betraying the cause. Let's go! Suicidal Japanese plane. Thank you, Ranka. Only world revolution is possible, so no need to build socialism ever. So yeah, give me subs. Yeah, I hate that. Bernie Sanders, #1 guy. I love. If only Bill Clinton was president again, everything would be better again. Obama, I miss you, Obama. I'm going to turn into an exclusively pro-Obama channel now, man. Thank you, Too Hardcore. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, the song, I guess, but they intentionally put it. The fucking Chinese are fucking too edgy for their own fucking good. Thank you, fucking Barry, for the 4 gifts. I think this is fucking self-sabotage, okay? The whole world is realizing you're based as fuck, and then there's a bunch of fucking Chinese fucking idiots that go up to him. Have you seen that girl that goes up to him and says, I'm a racist. I'm really racist. I love being a racist. But wait, shit, no, now I'm a liberal streamer. Everybody's talking too much about racism. We should focus on those things that keep us together. All lives matter, don't you know? Why are you segregating yourself like this by talking about your skin color specifically? the more subs they get, the more liberal I will. Oh my god, pizza famine! Shit, I'm becoming so fucking liberal that tariffs, an incredible idea. American workers more important than other workers. More tariffs on the third world, please. Yes. Stop giving a shit. Thank you. I love tariffs. This is me doing a slub knob 3,000 on my fucking Oilers right now, bro. My favorite liberal streamer. I'm gonna live. See, this is the market properly correcting, okay? This man was supposed to go bankrupt and lose his entire current batch that would probably sustain him for the next week, okay? Nobody should help him out. There should be no state intervention in this, okay? Nobody should be able to sue the fucking makers of this road because there should be no roads except private company town roads. How about you buy yourself a better fucking car, you poor fucking schmuck. Fucking riding with 3 fucking wheels. How about you get some fucking money? And how about you stop being so fucking old? Haven't you heard we're in a digital fucking world right now? Motherfucker out here selling apples. You think you're gonna get fucking rich and swole by selling fucking apples? I made 500 times more than what you make in a year by selling an Apple fucking crypto the other fucking day. Thank you, Sirashed. Okay, turning me even more. Now I have to turn reactionary. I'm no longer simply liberal, like there's a difference. What the fuck? 20 gift subs I just saw. What the fuck? Shit, fuck. What level are we on? What fucking level are we on? Show me what the fucking... Level 14. We might be breaking records today. What the fuck? Record is, I think, 17.
一个看似简单的弯道，如何实现快速通过？让我们来看看车手别具一格的过弯方式。第一位车尾没甩起来，加上车身过长，导致车头。
Okay, stop giving a shit. Stop giving me subs, bro. Please, unless you're a multimillionaire, unironically. Thank you so much.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper.
This is the first time this sound played since I put it in. Fuck! Thank you so much. Stop giving a shit. But come on, bro. I love you. Yeah, I am feeling guilty. Bro, stop. Thank you. Unless you're a multimillionaire or just a millionaire, stop. Look, genuinely, thank you so much. But enough. It's more than enough. It's more than enough. I think the sound needs to be louder. Yeah, I put it a little bit down. But thank you, dude. Mwah. Would not be possible to do what I do without you. Holy fucking shit, level 15. Ah! Like, no, it's fine. I don't want to fucking bankrupt my dear friend. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, I need to be doing the... yeah, I'm getting more... Speak fucking American, bitch. What's this? Look, a non-white man looks silly and does not speak the American. What are these weird symbols, chat? What are these weird symbols? What fucking country is this? What are these weird fucking symbols? Man, if I go there, I won't be able to know what's happening. Why do they use these weird symbols? What the fuck?
That I'm most definitely from.
Oh yes, Japan, my favorite country, best country of all time. Creates anime and like overworks its people. I love it. Don't you know Japan best country? Here's a couple of quid for my poor ass. I don't feel like I'm left out of all these champagners. You're fine, man. Thank you very much. 1 sub or 100, it all warms my soul. I mean, respectfully, when somebody gives like 50 gift subs or 10 or 20 gift subs, it's pretty insane. But I still love I'm still in character, by the way. I hate women. Makeup should be made illegal, except for when I actually do tie the woman to my local refrigerator. But before then, I should be able to tell how attractive they are all the time. I am a man, which makes me very stupid, so I cannot see through makeup, and I will make 100% of my personality about how women are dirty little liars, dude, with the makeup stuff. You see, these guys haven't fucking figured out, brother. I want women like this dancing everywhere, brother. I want them dancing in the toilets, outside of the toilets. I want them dancing on the fucking street. I want them dancing so much that when I drive, I don't see where I'm going, brother. Okay, brother? Who let this woman out? There you go. You let a woman fucking outside of the fucking house and she starts fucking polluting and shit immediately. I fucking told you guys it was a bad fucking idea. Oh, and now you're gonna tell me, oh, it's their culture or something, or that has like cultural significance or whatever the fuck. Yeah, like culture was a real fucking thing, man. Get out of here with this fucking gay shit. A real man drives his fucking car, not any of this fucking homosexual self-driving fucking bullshit. I want to be able to control my big fucking pickup truck when I run over every single child in the cul-de-sac, bitch. What purpose does this serve? What purpose does this serve? Art! What are you, fucking homosexual? Art? Fucking. Look, it's really by itself. Freaky ass shit. How about you get a wife and a picket fence and 7 children, you fucking schmuck? Fucking art. This is more like it. Inter-ethnic conflict. Let's go inter-ethnic conflict. I fucking love it, bro.
Where's your pig, man? You met, bro. I met you in Chengdu, Chongqing, okay, in Hong Kong. Okay. How you?
But how can he? Okay. Oh no, the hype train is over. Thank you, Jesus. I'll give you last reactionary thing. No, I'm not. No. God saved me from doing the reactionary thing. But you can guess what the reactionary thing was going to be about. Because he recognized him from seeing him multiple times. And he remembered him while in China. You know what I was going to say. Insane. Level 15. 210 fucking gift subs. Okay? 2,801 bits. From the bottom of my heart, beautiful Oilers. Stop giving a shit. Si Rashid, Pizza Famine, Barry. Just fucking thank you. Seriously, just, I'm not gonna lick your ass or whatever the fuck. Just absolute simple fucking thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Dave the Legend for the raid. Welcome, my beautiful piece of shit. Thank you very much for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. You just entered as a level 15 hype train ended. I believe that Stop Giving a Shit has earned, I believe I gave it to Barry already. Pizza Famine is very close. I am going to give Stop Giving a Shit a Good old VIP. There you go. Thank you very much for your support. Here we are, a class-oriented. Everybody go check out Dave Legend, dear friend of the show, great fucking comrade. Streams very regularly. Please go and give them a follow. Please, you would be doing me a favor. Trust me on this one. And thank you very, very kindly for the raid. I'm sorry that I'm a bit out of it because these fucking absolute fucking psychopaths have done some insane shit today, and they've weirded me out. We should introduce rewards for getting to sub goals. We absolutely should. We absolutely should. Fuck! That was sick as shit! I'm sorry, that was sick as shit! It was so fucking sick! But yes, thank you very much, Dave, for the raid. We did a very serious segment of the show for those of you that are incoming, and now we're doing a just edgy, stupid part of the show with a little bit of drama. Even though this aspect of it, I don't think it's just drama. It's specifically hitting the nail over the head on a specific point when certain people that classify themselves as leftist agitators basically become so wealthy that they no longer co-align with working class interests, and they just start becoming shills of the Democratic Party, which in this case is ContraPoints, as Empanada is properly outlining.
It's because you have followed these sorts of prescriptions from people like this for many decades. When you could have been building up alternatives, you were instead working within the Democratic Party at the behest of supposedly real left influencers who are way better than those crazy far lefties, just like Natalie Wynn. It's all because instead of taking the time to build these alternatives, you just get swindled by these propagandists who convince you that the easy way out...
2K subs for a special on Dacic's drunk singing and explaining Turkish to a Turk. That's not a bad idea. But I don't want to shock people even more about what it is to be Serbian.
...is actually the true way out. And then, shock, horror, the easy way out just subsumed you into the system, just made you another part of it, yet again. Wow. So if you really want to stop losing, if you really want to stop allowing these people to turn you into another cog in the wheel of the status quo, stop doing that. Because even if you did follow the prescriptions of someone like Natalie Wynn, and you join the Democratic Party and... I don't know, maybe you canvass and you help them win a presidential election. That wouldn't be a win for the left at all. It would be a win, in fact, for the exact opposite of what you originally stood for. That can, in fact, only ever be a loss for the left. Remember that.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Especially like there, it's the main reason it's no longer left wing is because she's actively dedicated her career to mellowing out more radical progressives who have class consciousness, who care about social justice, etc., into the Democratic Party by actively, that's the key word, not indirectly or by accident or through difference of theoretical understanding of how the funnel works, but by actively pushing them towards joining the Dems. And there is a very large difference between someone like her and other larger left-wing creators that I genuinely don't believe do that, even though they flirt with the Democratic Party. I think there is just a difference in, again, theoretical understanding of who owns the pipeline. The intention, in my opinion, is very important and should not be disregarded. And the intention when it comes to ContraPoints is very much so the de-radicalization of leftists and introducing them to the Dems. Do you hear that the Cuban government convinced Assad to go to Cuba? No, but that's sick. That's sick as shit. Okay. Now, continuing with this, my boy released this.
So poopy Ethan Klein maliciously...
No, not poopy. Ethan... wife guy Ethan Klein. That's the pitch. We got to call him wife guy. Wife guy is the main thing.
Poopy Ethan Klein maliciously doxed me during the most recent episode of his podcast. He stated my real name no less than 7
He has a literally different like lighting setup every time he streams. Wife guy, yeah, don't you know? Like we call him specifically wife guy, a man indoctrinated into Zionist propaganda for the most mid woman to ever fucking mid. That's number one. Number two, we call all the members of the H3 podcast rent-a-friends because he has no friends and nobody will work with him or talk to him unless he pays them. And we are also developing the theory that overexposure, too fast, too quick, too much to Ozempic eventually turns you into a bigot. Because really skinny people tend to be bigots. Same like with short people from time to time, okay? This is Reactionary Yugo Hour. I'm not explaining his material link to the State of Israel or the fact that he is trying to build a cutout audience that will be somewhere in the middle between the left and the classically defined neoconservative outlook that, you know, he can milk for money like Destiny adjacent people, etc., because he understands that he will never be able to pitch to leftists because of his Zionist beliefs. So, you know, there's a monetary component to it as well. But I think all those factors come together and create this megalomania in a person type of fucking idiot who's dedicated the entirety of his life creating content that you watch while you take a shit, that for some reason woke up one morning and decided that he's smart enough to talk about genocide.
17 times, and also showed it on the screen a few dozen more times. This is not information that I have ever publicly revealed on my own volition. It has only ever been disseminated via doxing, pretty much the most doxing kind of doxing, in fact. It was taken from government databases by right-wing trolls in Argentina at the end of 2023 and then spread by them. And now,
yeah, he talked about this on the deprogram, pretty unhinged shit. So there was basically a large doxing group in Argentina that tried to find any leftists inside of the country and basically make sure the dangerous far-right groups know exactly who they are and how to find them. He talked about this ad nauseum on the episode, not in a negative way, of course. It was very interesting. Turns out most of them were absolute fucking idiots that could do nothing. The highest level, I think, was one guy like continuously shipping him Israeli flags, but he missed the address, so he was selling Israeli flags, like hundreds of Israeli flags, to a wrong address. And then that guy reached out to Empanada and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no, why the fuck are they sending me boxes and boxes of Israeli flags? And it's all like, your name is on all of the boxes, but I think they have the wrong fucking address. And then Empanada had to fix that situation with this random guy that was just getting Israeli flags, like hundreds of tiny little Israeli flags that was sent over to his apartment. Motherfuckers be like, man, we're really gonna fuck up this fucking anti-Zionist communist piece of shit by like spending a lot of money on little flags and sending it to his address. That's gonna intimidate him, isn't it, bro? You got Yugoslavic descent, yes, sir, and I live in the Balkans to this day.
Now, Ethan Klein is spreading it as well, in flagrant violation of YouTube's...
I disagree. Being skinny makes you reactionary. Otherwise, a skinny communist
Wonderful.
wouldn't be a meme.
I
agree. No, I was kidding. I love my skinny kings, queens, and NBs. I was just trying to be reactionary for the sake of being reactionary.
In terms of servant.
I will never. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry, the fucking legend. I will never. What's the word? I will die on the hill that, on average, propensity towards reactionary thinking is higher amongst shorter cis men. That is a progressive skull measuring that I believe. I believe the theory stands.
And if you're interested in a more detailed explanation of that, I have a whole long-ass video going over the whole saga of those people doxing me, and these are the people who...
Oh yeah, he has a video as well, because he talked about it right before doing the video.
Ethan Klein appears to be working with now to try and disseminate my dox even further after their previous attempts to dox me and get me killed failed. The information that Ethan Klein has been disseminating actually comes quite directly from the people who originally doxed me. He has been citing paid far-right doxer Drew Pavlou, who originally obtained this information from the Argentine government employees who illegally disseminated it from government databases. So yeah, the link is extremely direct. Ethan Klein seems to think that he can get away with doxing on YouTube, that he can literally disseminate information stolen.
But not when it comes to the fucking biting dog of the left. Not when it comes to fucking Bad and Panuta. Not when it comes to Bad and Panuta. Bad and Panuta's gonna do some crazy shit about these Bad and Panuta.
Fun story, there's one of those Amazon return resale stores nearby, and the owners are Palestinian, and behind the register is a large pic of their cousin and Palestinian flag and kufias, because he and other relatives have been killed in Gaza. I found small Israeli flag patches and asked him if I could throw these in the trash, and he handed me the trash can behind me. Who wants money from selling bloody shit? Of course.
Stolen from government and databases illegally. This has, of course, resulted in me receiving tons of messages from his fans with vivid descriptions of just how they're going to use my personal information to...
It will never happen. You will have a knife in your neck before that happens. Good thing we know where you live. Imagine wanting to kill people for Ethan Klein and Gila Klein. Literally the most embarrassing, like, milquetoast, vanilla, bitch-ass fucking creators on the platform. Imagine having a parasocial relationship to the most if you open the digital dictionary and you look at the definition of mid, their faces show up. And this is someone you would be willing to risk jail time for. Like, that's impressive. At least do it for someone that's, I don't know, fucking hot or unhinged or edgy. Like, I understand people wanting to, like, give their life for someone like Wow Mao, you know? Handsome, tall, insane, probably will have a cult one day. But for Ethan Klein, really, very, very pathetic.
Kill me. Like this one.
You sound like you're crazy good at Counter-Strike, are you? Hey! Are you? Do you ask black people you know if they're good at basketball, motherfucker? It's a good one though. Surprisingly, you know. I've always felt like my Slavic genetics were weak on that topic. I was like a COD Modern Warfare 1 kid. The second they let us use scope. The second they let us use scopes, I became very good. But up until that moment, no.
This one, and this one.
Check, hoću pročitam jebote. Wait, okay.
Personal information to kill me. Like this one. This
is literally a picture of his dick. Oh my god. Es mi papa y cuando... Wait. My dad... Okay, they know where his house is or whatever the fuck. I don't speak Spanish, but... And he sent a dick pic and he said, this is specifically for your mom. Okay. This is Argentina. This is like something. Okay. Spanish speakers in chat. Come on, are you going to help me? Why is the picture so big though? He's my dad, and when I find the information, I'm going to send my Argentinian friends to your parents' house. If you're in Argentina, your house is burned down. The guy literally did, my dad is really tough and strong and big, and he will fuck you up. Here's a picture of my penis. It's for your mom. I will fuck you up so hard. You will be so fucked up. Thank you, NR Spills, for the second gift subby. Thank you very much, my friend.
This one.
You deserve a bullet in the head. Go fuck a goat, you stupid Arab fuck.
Come on, man. The racists fucking suck nowadays. You gotta be better at. Oh my god. You gotta know who you're talking to. Okay. He's a Greek goat fucker. Okay. Greeks fuck them goats. Okay. Not an Arab. You can do the same goat fucker thing, but at the Greek thing, because it's also like a Greek racist bullshit. Ah, man, this is so disappointing. The enemy is not as engaging as they used to be. Looking like a piece of shit. Go die in Afghanistan, fucking a dirt hole, you fucking towel head. Literally, he completely got the whole fucking ethnicity wrong. Come on. He got the... Calling a Greek Arab might bother him more. We even better races than them. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That's what I was always afraid of. From dedicating years and years of my life to understanding fascist and Nazi ways of thinking. I believe I have garnered too high of a level of racialized degenerate concepts that are always in my head. That's why, ironically, my first reaction when I see people like this, I'm like, they can't even racism properly. You can't even racism properly. Fucking do better. Do not clip that. I repeat, do not clip that.
And this one. Precisely.
No, yeah.
And this one. And this one.
Hey, motherfucker, I am visiting Argentina, Henrique Matos. Hey, motherfucker, I'm visiting Argentina this summer, since my friend lives there. Where do you live? I'm gonna tell you, bruv. You seriously need to have your fucking teeth kicked in. Dude, Empanada's gonna wipe the fucking floor and then fuck you up your fucking cretin ass afterwards, motherfucker.
Precisely what Ethan Klein...
Wait, shit. Oh, my God. That was supposed to... My button didn't work. I'm sorry. I apologize. My button didn't work. I was pressing the censorship button and it didn't. Robo has a test in an hour. Wish me luck and I don't fail. I had to complete a test. No, sorry, to leave. Not in an hour, but we'll have a test. Everybody say, Robo, good luck on your test. We were all young and needed to do tests and remember how pain in the butt it can be. So good luck, Robo. Kick some ass, my friend.
And was trying to incite by spreading this. This man is...
Oh, wait. Oh, this one looks like it's big. M. This guy's M.
Wonderful. A new child soldier. Subscriber.
You better watch your back. I will stab you. I will 110%. You know it's very serious when there's a percentage of how much they're going to stab you. And it's just not 100% stab. They're 110% going to stab you. I will 110% attack you with a knife. And I will aim to for your neck. You know this guy has been in many fights. He's like, I am going to aim it really good. I'm really good at aiming my knife. Do you understand, you subhuman freak? You look like your dad married and fucked a goat. Oh, come on. He is not Arab. You don't do the Arab thing when he's... Oh, my God. And don't forget there is no genocide in Gaza. There's no genocide, but I like aiming at your neck 110%. Man, get stronger, okay? You need to be able to 200% attack him, okay? 300. Why not 400% attack him? Why only 110% attack him? This is weak. I thought Zionists were stronger than this. Thank you, Barry, for the 6-month gift to our friend Robo. That is very kind of you, man. That is very kind of you.
Is so pathetically unable to respond to my actual videos where I refute his Zionist talking points that this is what he...
There's no genocide, but I like there to be. Also, the Welsh are the sheep fuckers. The Greeks are Turk knockoffs. Kind of works. Okay, yeah, Welsh are sheep fuckers. Arabs are goat fuckers. South Italians are actually Arabs. The way to offend a particular ethnicity is pretty easy.
He resorts to. This is part of a clear pattern of doxing and harassment on the H3 podcast. What he tried to do to me is not even a fraction of what they've done to others. and we'll be getting into that in a minute as well. But the divulgation of private information non-consensually is one of the few things that YouTube actually does take rather seriously. They have a legal privacy violation complaint form, which you can use to report the non-consensual dissemination of your private information. One of these instances of private information being your full real name. The offender in this case doesn't actually have any recourse. Their only option is to either censor the private information from
Slovaks are ram fuckers. What the fuck? Hungarians are cringe Mongols. Yeah, the Spanish are Arabs. I love how most of, like, for 25% of European countries, if you want to offend them, you call them Arabs. Austrians like incest and genocide. Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic. My favorite way for Austrians is just to call them like irrelevant Germans. Like that clicks a lot more, you know. Aren't Slovak fanboy? No, Slovenians are fanboy. Slovenians are fanboy. No, Polish is you really want to fuck up a Polak, call him a Catholic Russian. You will, like, have the living shit beat out of you. But it is very funny.
The offending video within 48 hours, delete the video, or leave it up to YouTube's...
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. By trying to fight fucking bigots for such a large part of my life. But you're not fighting, you're studying and trying to do my best. But I'm far from like, ooh, it's such a fun, stupid thing to say. Ooh, I'm a fighter against the bigotry. It's not what I mean. But what I mean is like trying to understand them so that I know how to properly dismantle, etc., etc. Now it sounds nerdy, but it's true. An unwarranted amount of time dedicated to this. I can out-racist the racists, basically, is what I'm saying. And it's fucked up that at least 5% of my brain is dedicated to understanding different racial stigmas. It's very stupid.
Legal team reviewing the video after those 48 hours are up. They get no right to respond, they get no right to try and explain themselves, no right to try and justify what they did. I've used this complaint system in a number of other cases, and every single time when someone was spreading my docs like this, sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose, YouTube has sided with me. They have either deleted the video and actioned the person in question, or the person in question has censored or removed the part of the video where they doxed me. Usually when they do that, it's because they didn't know this was private information and it was just an honest mistake. So if the H3 podcast is treated like every other YouTuber here, then this podcast episode should either be
No, I completely agree.
massively censored, which will be difficult for them to do, given that they mentioned my name so many times within it that they're basically just...
No, it unironically deserves a... What was it? Not a flag, a strike, right? It deserves a strike. It deserves a channel strike. Openly doxing deserves a channel strike.
Have to cut out the entire episode, or it will need to be entirely...
Know thy enemy in order to destroy him. Story of my life, my friend.
Deleted. Or
that's why I understand fascism better than fascists.
At least that's what would happen if they were treated the same as other YouTubers. In reality, big YouTubers tend to be treated a lot differently and tend to be given a lot more grace by YouTube to just blatantly break the terms of service. I find it difficult to believe, for example, that I wouldn't get banned, or at least have my video deleted, if I was to, say, repeat Ethan Klein's easy-to-find address 17 times in one video. Obviously, just because you can find it doesn't mean that it's not doxing to share it. The only case where it is not doxing is when the person has shared it of their own volition. And that is how YouTube's community guidelines understand the offense quite clearly. They don't care if you can find the information elsewhere because others dox the person before.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's nice. That's very nice. That's very chill. I didn't know that was a rule. That's very chill. I thought that once it's out there, unfortunately, I absolutely would call it doxing still, but I thought that it's allowed. Like, it's not illegal. Once someone's personal info is out there, everyone can share it, etc., etc. And I always found it to be very fucked up. But I didn't know that it was not allowed, at least on this platform, which is cool.
Before you got around to doing it, all they care about is that it was shared without the permission of the person in question. So if Ethan Klein is treated with any sort of equality to other creators, then his latest podcast episode should be deleted within 48 hours. But then
I'm hearing Ethan's name too much. It is time to zin, baby. Yes, you see, I'm going down. I'm on 2 now. I'm on 2, chat. Your boy is being good. I'm on 2. 2. Bright Spearmint. I will never get over that it's called Bright Spearmint. It's just like there has to have been somebody in the marketing department that was like, dude, we can't call it that. We mostly sell this to kids anyway. We cannot call it that. Another guy was like, no, we're doing it. It's going to be funny.
Again, is he treated equally to other creators? Given that he has been just openly doxing people for months on his podcast for weeks at this point, perhaps not. Ethan has been trying to justify this by saying that he found my personal information in other places, which is just him arguing that if someone else doxes you first, that means that you're fair game, which again, I'd love to see him apply that logic to his own personal information, which is just out there on the internet all over the place, and which he doubtlessly would throw a fit at if I was to share it. I mean, this is a guy who said during his latest podcast episode that telling him to clean his shit.
My beautiful mod sent me this and said, when the Ozempic hits. This is too petty even for me, Anne, but it's funny. And then moves to Vucic. And then show me this graph. And then show me my tweet.
Shit is a threat.
He sent me an email just right now. I sent you a picture. He said, or not right now. Let's see. When did he send? He sent it at 8:50 a.m. He says, "Clean your shit. Don't eat it," which I don't know is a threat.
So yeah, he would definitely consider it a threat for me to share his address, even though it is rather easy to find. Yet he seems to think it's okay for him to share my own personal information, as he makes the argument that it's fine room to do so because others doxed me before he got around to doing it. Very genius logic there, and also very irrelevant, given that YouTube does not give a single shit.
You gotta know that Empanada is justified, like completely justified in this, but extra paranoid, because I am. I have a big fucking machete next to my bed, and nobody knows my name, nobody knows where I'm at, etc., etc. People have general ideas of the country I'm from, or the country you live in, and that's fine. But even though you get immediately banned if you start talking about it in chat. But I still do that because I'm a paranoid fucking poser-ass idiot. But Empanada is not a paranoid ass fucking idiot if he does that, because so many people are trying to actually fully dox him. So I'm sure this guy's like, whole bedroom is kitted out with fucking stab objects, 100%.
About it. YouTube's terms of service are clear, and if that
the old heads know machete.
Terms of service are equally applied to all creators, Ethan Klein should be getting his podcast episode fully deleted within 48 hours. If not, then we can say definitively that YouTube treats bigger creators differently to everyone else, and that bigger channels like the H3 podcast are given a free pass by the YouTube higher-ups to dox.
Sorry, I didn't have captions on. Always remind me to have captions on for comrades that need them.
As I said at the beginning, though.
And I apologize, I sometimes have them off. It's because so I can read some stuff and then I don't turn them on again. I need to get better at that. I apologize.
He's done way worse to other people. Here is Ethan Klein doxing live on his podcast a random Instagram commenter, a former fan of his, who told his wife, Hila Klein, a fixture on his show, to go to hell. Ethan Klein scrolls through their Instagram, finds their family members, commands his audience to look into the guy and to harass him, and his crew member, Abdullah Ayad, make sure that the audience knows precisely where the guy lives. This resulted in this guy,
what the fuck,
receiving tons of death threats, and his family members receiving death threats as well from the H3H3 community, all at Ethan Klein's command.
How do you have militant members of the H3H3 community? Sorry, I know that's not the point of the video, but I just find it baffling. Imagine to be militant for... Like, this is who you're militant for. It's unhinged. It's like, do better. Do better. Have an unhinged parasocial relationship with someone better. God.
Believe me? Let me show you. Here's the
fresh investors.
Original clip.
Matching.
I have a Ethan Klein war band on my 2025 bingo card. Militant warrior of the H3H3 podcast. Imagine you're scrolling through Tinder and you see like a guy and he's cute as fuck. And you scroll down. I say guy because there's no girl or NB that would do that. You see a cis dude and you scroll down to the the description, whatever. I haven't been on Tinder in 10 years, and you see militant warrior of the H3H3 podcast, and then underneath hashtag Teddy Fresh Stan. Oh, would you go on a date? What way would you swipe? I'm a big orbiter. I would delete Tinder that second. You'd be like, they found me. Shit.
Swastika adjacent tattoos. Man, I'm being obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe Coop. Look this guy up. Enjoy.
Oh, but Empanada, now you should censor that, bro. Shit.
Enjoy hell. He said, enjoy hell.
Yeah. No, I mean, they think I'm actually the devil.
I feel like this one's real. We caught you, Joe. Public-facing account.
Joe.
I see you. You wanted to be cute? Let's see it. Nice mustache. Strong entry. Not exactly the Esteban, but halfway there.
He's not. Oh yeah.
Yes, he's a real guy.
Him he's not showing up for me.
So this is Joe Coop. He left a message on Hila's Star David tattoo. He said, "I'm glad that phase is behind me. Enjoy hell." Joe Coop said on Star David. Here he is. If anyone, let's see if I know.
I'll put the screen back on when they're not showing the guy.
Can I identify him at all?
Oh shit! That weenie truck he's in front of, that's in Dearborn.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's
Dearborn owns the Oscar Mayer truck.
It's at the Henry Ford Museum. Yeah, they also have the.
Wait, it doesn't travel around?
Yeah, I thought it traveled.
I mean, it used to in like the '60s, unless there's multiple.
Which one's Joe? Let's see. I think it's this guy.
No,
that's Joe.
That doesn't look anything like him.
No, no, it is. Here, let me show you. That's him.
Oh.
That's him right there. Trust me, when I see an anti-Semite, I know I can spot him.
Wow. Spot him from a crowd.
That's him. So I don't know if you guys all know that, but your friend Joe here actually is a fucking giant racist piece of shit. And like he likes to tell Jewish people they're going to hell on Instagram on his public profile. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but certainly anyone who would employ him or probably even his parents would be pretty disappointed to see that, although who knows. Here's his mom. I'm not going to click that for her. Oh, no, you know what? Fuck him. This is what you... Here's your mom. I wonder if she knows what you do on social media on your free time. You love your mama. Good thing she's not Jewish, hey, Joe? I love it. I love it.
Now, if I did something like that to anyone, the video of me doing it would be deleted at the very least, and I would at the very least get a warning or a strike, and rightfully so. But Ethan Klein did that to this guy live on his stream, a clear instance of doxing and harassment by YouTube's own guidelines, and the video is still up. Nothing has happened to him as a result of this. Ethan Klein and his fans are so obsessive and malicious that they even went and found revenge porn of this guy and disseminated it. And this sort of thing is just like an average week on the H3 podcast. In fact, his community at his command has only been escalating against this person, sending him more and more death threats, threatening to track down and kill his mother, who they doxed as well, and threatening to track down, rape and kill his underage sister, which, to be clear, is something that is not at all out of line for Ethan Klein's fans to want to do, given that Ethan Klein himself has sexually harassed a teenage terrorism victim in the past. Check this clip out.
Boy, what can you say about a photo like this? She's got a nice... I'd fuck her face. She's got a nice smug face. Good to fuck.
You all know this. I'm gonna fucking vomit. Fucking shit.
Ethan Klein for you right there.
I didn't want to show that vibrator. I'm sorry.
I guess the fans learn from the best. Now, apart from Ethan Klein constantly doxing people, literally live on YouTube on his podcast and somehow getting away with it, he also does it off-platform frequently, mostly in his Instagram stories, which he uses because he's deathly afraid of anyone being able to respond to him publicly, because he knows that he would just get ratioed in any sort of environment where he was subject to public scrutiny. For example, just a few weeks ago, Ethan Klein tracked down a random guy who left him a mean comment in a stream chat, found the guy's Facebook, and then posted it publicly to his viewers, hoping that his viewers would do their specialty, send death and rape threats. He does this sort of thing constantly. And it is literally all that he's...
Yeah, it's been a second since this guy's moved past, like, internet drama. All of you know, he tried to actually deplatform people. He tried to get every progressive voice, which the only way to be a progressive voice is to talk about Palestine with all due respect, off of Twitch. He tried to get the U.S. State Department, the Israeli State Department involved, and the act of doxing talks about itself, right? This is no longer just a dude that disagrees with you on the internet and then says, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. It spiraled so fucking far deep down the rabbit hole of absolute degenerate insanity that he's sending attack dogs everywhere he can.
His internet presence is dedicated.
It's insane. He's literally moving it into the grass-touching land, which is so fucked up.
He doesn't make content. He doesn't do anything. All he does is complain about people criticizing him, dox them, and tell...
To add my fun fact, I'm Palestinian and she believes I'm not allowed to hate or curse at Israel. With all due respect, I don't think she considers you human, bro.
His audience to target them. This is someone who, if they did not have such a big channel, if they did not have previous good grace of YouTube, they would have already been banned. Pretty much no creator with less than 1 million subscribers could ever get away with this sort of thing. And Ethan Klein is just blatantly breaking the YouTube community guidelines and the YouTube terms of service pretty much every single...
Remember when we thought like absolute pieces of shit like Keemstar were like the peak of... like horrible human beings on the internet that build their whole career off of being horrible human beings on the internet? Well, I guess there was a hell underneath hell.
Single time he boots up his podcast and getting away with it every single time. The question is, when will it stop? I'm going to link in the description here the offending episodes of the H3 podcast with timestamps that everyone should report, given their clear violations of the YouTube community guidelines. And all of you should do everything that you can to make sure that YouTube gets eyes on this. Apart from reporting the offending content and filing your own privacy complaints if Ethan Klein has violated your privacy on his podcast, as I did, you should also tweet at Team YouTube on Twitter, which weirdly is one of the only real ways to get in direct contact with YouTube support, and tell them politely, calmly, and in detail what he has been doing on his channel with links to specific timestamps and examples. His podcast can scarcely go a single episode without doxing someone and trying to sick his fans on them, and there is simply no way that he would be getting away with this if he wasn't being given special treatment from YouTube. Anyway, I'd like to end this video with Ethan Klein going on a minutes-long tangent about how his entire family got the parasite Giardia from what he implies was eating dog poop.
The next part is...
What's the next?
That Olive has Giardia, which is it's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
Constantly
and Olive has this?
Olive has this, yeah. She came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea and...
oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. And I just wonder why...
It's relatively common.
It should be... They should have found it already. But anyway, so she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. And...
From Ethan Klein.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has Giardia.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
and now Ela has Giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my God.
Chief, what can I do to not get it from
Yeah, I'm
you?
trying to-
Because I'm not trying to get
Can
that.
we crank the AC maybe?
Is it?
It's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop. Are you planning on that?
Never.
Not really.
So then you're fine.
Oh my god. Legal issue. Other legal issue. Sorry, I'm just reporting it, but in order to report it, you put in some of your personal information. And done. I've done my part. I've done my part. Are you doing your part? Are you doing your part? Well, you have the links in the video if you want to do your part, if you know what I mean. On a separate page, I did my part. So if you want to stop a serial doxer from serially doxing, do consider fucking doing that. Check out my Instagram account as well. I don't know if you fuckers know it. Here's the Instagram account. I'm saying because I posted some pictures from the trip. This is basically the three of us. This is an actual video from the three of us.
Отдыхаем. Настюшка, колбаска, Ленин с нами тоже. Все хорошо. Так, сидим, отдыхаем. Настюшка, колбаска, Ленин с нами тоже. Все хорошо. Так.
Is the Lenin head in the room with us right now? Last program trip. It was very cool. The least doxable ones that I could post. Everything else was insanely doxable, especially for Hakeem. This is when we did the stream together that is now off of Twitch because fucking Hakeem decided to be completely fucking unhinged and almost got me fucking banned. The motherfucker. Here you can see a part of my face. I don't give a shit. I mean, you can see it on the fucking streams most of the time. And you can guess where we were at. I'm doxing where we were at to an extent. This was JT, beautiful, beautiful JT. I love him, so cute. It's me in a street. This was a very nice shot by JT. Look at him, look at him, look at him. My beautiful boy doing intellectual things. How tall is JT? I think like 1.75 meters, 1.80, somewhere in between 1.75 and 1.80. You're that tall or he's so short? He's not that short. He's normal height. He's normal height. I am a larger person. I'll give you that. This is a very cool painting. The specter of guess what is haunting Europe. Unc, are you sick? A little bit. No, I'm not. I mean, no longer am. But I got a little bit of nose issues. I got that Ozempic snort, if you know what I mean. JT in that picture gives me Hobbit vibes. The specter of Hakeem. Did Hakeem release the media hold? Yes, as long as he is not visible in any of the photos, which he is not. Because we finished the trip, but yeah, it was a great trip. It was lovely. These are just 1 out of 7 million fucking 7 million posts, and people were very funny. Why are you posting random pictures of Tony Soprano? Fucking asshole. I mean, it's a compliment, I guess. Your husband has such beautiful curls. Cherish him. Oh my God, Hugo is a huge, huge man. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. That painting is so cool. For the description of the motel, I genuinely thought you guys were in Brazil. Is you super tall or is JT super small? I guess that's the main conversation. Show full feet. Yeah, they were giving me shit for not showing full feet here, but I knew that it would be against JT's interests to be sexualized so openly. Looking like the setup of an Abbott and Costello style adventure. That's lovely. But yeah, if you would like to follow some of my experiences after dark, when I get fucking shit-faced and I basically dox myself by posting, what do you call it? stories of my after dark adventures, do consider giving a follow. But I'm large like that. You're a beautiful fucker. Oh, thank you. Big boy. I mean, that's why I'm reactionary about short people. I guess it explains everything. It's in my height social class interest. Showing JT's feet is the prelude to the next project. Only thought. Oh, sick shit. Anyways, I would be milking it if we move into another one. Instead, I will see you on the beautiful day of tomorrow. This has been absolutely fucking fantastic. One of the best streams I've ever done. I had so much fun. And thank you to the Oilers. Thank you to the subs. Thank you to all the followers. Genuinely brilliant work. Eternal thank you to the mods. If you want to more directly support the mods, because it is a literal cooperative to an extent, please do consider going and subscribing to this channel, Yugopnik Live. I'll post the links as well, because profits are shared between editors, which are all mods, and me, myself, and I. So if this grows, their potential revenue stream grows as well, which would make me happier than a little pickle, like a pickle Rick. Like a pickle Rick type of shit. Thank you, Palmer, you fucking legend. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much. So yeah, go and check out this shit. They do very, very good work. Here's some links.
Crazy humble.
What the fuck? Stop giving a shit. Stop. Like, you should start giving a shit. Motherfucker, there's another 10. Start giving a shit. Thank you so much. So yeah, let me see who to do a cute little raid on. Let's do who raided me recently? I think James raided me recently. So go and say hi to dear friend James, fellow Unk. Okay, fellow Unk. Say hi, and I will see you tomorrow. Literally tomorrow, same time, same place. We might game. We might play some video games if you're into that sort of thing. Okay. Anyways, what the fuck? It's not letting me. There it is. Unitas Mundi, fuck the Ozempic addict, and stay healthy and strong, and go to school, I guess. Wait before you end. What? What do you want me to do? What? After I raid, I should wait a little bit. Okay, I raid. And what? I should wait. I'm waiting. Is he going to raid? I guess it raided.